Rocking out with L Slack and Swally. Every week a new episode. Join us in the metaverse. Let's hit it explode. Let's hit explode. Dive deep into virtual reality with our dynamic duo, setting us free from CGI to holograms. We'll explore the possibilities are endless. Let's soar. Enter the metaverse where fantasies come alive. Rocking out with L Slack and Swally. Every week a new episode. Join us in the metaverse. Let's hit it explode. The metaverse where fantasies come alive. Rocking out with L Slack and Swally. Every week a new episode. Join us in the metaverse. Let's hit it explode. Let's hit explode. Let's hit explode.
All right, we're back. We're doing it, and we have some company this week. Jay Sawyer, what's up, man?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, I love it.
Welcome aboard. Just going to say that song isn't going to number one anytime soon, but it's a banging little song for an intro just from AI. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that little jingle.
It's amazing what AI can do already. Imagine what it's going to do in another decade's time. Holy crap.
Oh, I know. I made some other pretty funny songs because it doesn't let you cuss in it or say anything like disgusting. So
They couldn't be vulgar.
yeah, well, I had to try. And so I actually found a couple loopholes in it. It's really juvenile, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I was working to make it say pussy fart because I was trying to think of like, how do I what are words that could sound like other cuss words that aren't I could put together? And so like sofa king, you could say sofa king.
Isn't queefing, isn't that another word for that? Maybe that will work.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. You're right, very juvenile.
Yeah, so I actually figured out a way to make it say pussy fart. And so I made some songs that were pretty funny. I'll have to share them with you. I think it was the Pussy Fart Foundation where your queef isn't our beef. I think that's the tag. And my wife is really impressed by me.
Anyway, let's get on to what the show's about today.
Oh, so we can't just go into like disgusting things right out the gate? My bad. I forgot what's going on.
You got to remember, you are the vulgar uplander.
That's true. Yeah, I got to stay on point.
And we've got a bit to talk about today too. So
yeah, I think we do.
So apart from Jay Sawyer, who's with us and not being given a chance to talk yet,
I know. Sorry,
a bit of info in the last 24 hours. So if you're listening and hoping to get the details of the info, you're in the wrong place. That's for the other shows to do. We'll just discuss them. So if you want to know more about it, probably go watch Goldie, who was on earlier today. I haven't caught up with it, but I know that he went over it pretty thoroughly. Otherwise, watch the Down Under podcast on later in the week, and no doubt Ben will go through them because he doesn't read them until he's on the show, and then he goes, "Oh, what's this about?"
Yeah,
so, which is always good. Half the time, I just wait for him to explain it to me.
I noticed that.
Well, I kind of stick into my corner. Like my lane's treasure hunting, so I don't get involved in too much other stuff. So I've only, as I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, been stepping out of my lane into the Blender lane to check that out, and that's been going really well. So I might be doing that a bit more, but we'll see how we go.
I'm not quite sure what my lane is yet. I'm still
Yeah, well, that's everyone's got. I mean, as everyone says, you can't do everything in Upland. There's too much going on. If you like racing, go do your racing. If you like the other layer threes or whatever it is that you're into, then focus on that. And if you've got spare time, maybe do something else, but focus on what your main thing is. For me, it was treasure hunting. I wanted to get my spark up to, I think 75 was always my target. I'm at 60, so I'm getting there. Haven't really treasure hunted this last week very much because of this blender stuff, but I'll get back into it once I just wanted to really crash course blender, so while it's all fresh and you're learning, and drill it right in, so I'm now that confident that I can pretty much create and submit something pretty much from start to finish because I've just focused so much in the last week and a half. So
I can't wait. I can't wait to touch on that here some more because I got a bunch of questions for you. But I do want to talk to Jay Sawyer.
Right, let's go with Jay Sawyer.
I mean, since we're talking about lanes,
yeah.
this guy seems to have found a pretty neat little lane here.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing Upland as a solo player. Didn't really know there was a community out there since really late 2019. But it was always with the goal to build on it eventually on Upland. And so then before Genesis Week, when we really started laying the groundwork, found out there's a bunch of Upland players out there. So that was a nice discovery. And then going to Genesis Week, I'll tell you what, that's the best conference that I've ever been to.
Yeah. How many Genesis Weeks have you went to?
Just that one.
Oh, just this last year?
Yep.
Yeah, shit. I was blown away. I hadn't been to one before, but
I wish I'd gone to one 3 years ago because I would have gone to every single one of them.
Yeah, that was rad.
Yeah, I'd love to get that bloody trifecta Block Explorer. That's amazing. I want that, but no one's going to give it up. No one's going to give it up.
When you had your Next World, was it 5 minutes on stage where you got to talk about it? How did you feel that went?
Next World is it's kind of a platform game that we use as a launch pad for all the real games that we want to build and have plans to build. So 5 minutes wasn't really it was really challenging to stick to 5 minutes. So I didn't think it went super well, even though it got us second place, because I had to cut out about 90%, 95% of the content to keep it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, the reason I asked is because what I had seen on X and the little tiny bit we talked about, I think, through X, was not what I felt was represented at Genesis Live with your presentation. I thought the presentation was good, but I was like, is this even the same game that I think that they're putting out? And then when you guys got second, I was like, I'm sure this is based off the project as a whole, and not just this 5 minutes. I know it can't be.
Yeah, correct. The Upland team got to see the full presentation because I didn't know there was a 5 minute time limit when we submitted the PowerPoint. So they got to, and then also with the original submission to even be considered, they got to see, I would say, 100 times more than what you guys saw at Genesis Week.
Okay. Yeah, because when I saw it, I was like, originally, I was like, oh, this game looks right up my alley.
Yeah, this will be, we're going to have, it's not just going to be a resource producing platform for the Layer 3 games. There'll also be some game narrative within the Next World game as well. So it's not going to be mindlessly collecting and producing resources. You're also you will have a narrative to entertain you along the way.
Okay.
But if you don't have time for the narrative, like me, I enjoy the passive games where I can outlay some capital and then reap passive rewards.
Okay. So there were some questions in the chat, like what is Next World? Not much information on it. I'll give you more than 5 minutes, but are you able to give like like a summary or like a brief like elevator pitch on what is Next World?
I feel you limiting me already, Elslack.
I know. I'm trying not. Well, I mean, shit. We got 2 hours or so. Let's just do the whole damn thing.
Oh yeah, got it. Next World is like I said, it's a platform. So even though it's a gamified platform, so what it is built for is the resource production, and it's a layer 2. So it's built as a resource production engine for our layer 3 games that we're building as well. And the reason, one of the reasons to do it in that manner is that the resource production helps to support and fund all of the layer 3 development, as well as give a lot of utility to the Upland mechanics and resources and assets. And so it's there is a high barrier to entry into that game. When you look at a lot of play-to-earn games, a lot of them have a lot of trouble with the economy. So as players ape into a production game, they're only producing so that they can either sell or produce more quicker, right? So eventually, and very quickly, there's an overproduction of resources, and the price for those resources eventually crashes to zero because there's all supply and zero demand.
Right.
And so with Upland, we can there's a high barrier to entry into Next World. And with that high barrier to entry, not everybody is going to have the Upland assets or NFTs to even participate, and so that will limit the production of resources. And those resources are going to be needed to either play or to for the free-to-play games that we'll be making, just to enhance the play.
Okay. So the barrier of entry getting into Next World, how steep is that?
You're going to have to, the first barrier to entry that we really appreciate that Upland has is that you're going to have a home address set. And so that home address is going to force people that play Upland or Next World to have gone through the KYC process. So hopefully cut out a lot of the less sophisticated multi-accounters and then bots, etc. And then you're going to have to own property. Property is going to need to have structures on them. And it's been so long since I started playing Upland that up until I started onboarding people, our fans from other platforms that play our games, I forgot what a steep learning curve that Upland is. It's hard to get started. One girl called me and she was like, "Okay, I got my account and there's different colored squares. What's the point of this again?" And I was like, "Well, the point is that you buy the squares and you get to turn them from green to blue." And she was like, I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yes, but that's only the first step."
Why is this fun?
Yeah, what exactly am I doing here? Anyway, so and then just for Sparklet, just to build structures, that's a huge barrier to entry. If you were coming into Upland just to play our game, you're going to have to outlay some pretty steep capital for some people, especially from another country, just to purchase properties that have structures on them. And heaven forbid you want to build a structure with your 0.17 spark. It's going to take you months just to get a structure to get into Next World.
So Next World isn't necessarily a game that's going to be like rookie. It's not going to favor new players.
It will definitely. New players will not be getting into Upland just to play Next World. We're going to have an entry point into Upland from Next World because we're going to have a free-to-play section of Next World that people can get into. With that, they'll still need to have an Upland account, but they'll be able to play certain mini games in, like, let's say you have a mine resource structure in Next World.
Mm-hmm.
The mine is going to passively produce ore, let's say. But you can, as the mine owner yourself, you can enter the mine and play a mini game that will get you specialized mine assets like diamonds, rubies, or specific types of rocks. And those will be assets that you can sell to players in the layer 3 games that need those. However, if you don't own what you need to own in Upland to start your empire in Next World, you'll still be able to go into somebody else's mine, and the mine owner will set a percentage of split. And so you can play that mini game and, let's say, earn 10 diamonds, and the split's 30%. So the mine owner gets to keep 3 of the diamonds. You get to keep 7 of the diamonds. You sell those on the open. You sell them in the market for UPX. You bring that UPX back down into Upland and start accumulating what you need to start your own Next World account or land.
Okay.
So that's it'll be a way to bring new players to Upland down through Next World, and that will hopefully benefit the Upland economy as a whole.
Okay, that is a pretty. It seems like what's the word I'm looking for? A broad spectrum, I guess, of ways to get people in the Next World. You can't necessarily play it right out the gate, but you kind of can. But you can kind of kickstart things once you get established in Upland proper. Then you can really take off in Next World. But you can use Next World to get kicked off in Upland.
Yeah, and then our layer 3 games our first set of layer 3 games will be node partnerships. So like the Hyde Park Ninjas, for example, make a game with them, and these are all based on the actual neighborhoods. Those layer 3 games won't necessarily require an Upland account or a Next World account. We can open that up to the general public that can come on and play the game because it's fun to play, right? Benefit the economy because these players for the layer 3 game, unbeknownst to them, they're purchasing what they need to play the game from the producers in Next World.
Okay.
And then the goal of the layer 3 games is to use as many mechanics as possible to bring play into Upland as well. So one of the things that I always preach is that I don't hear people talk about too much is block explorer engagement. I'm in real estate banking right now, or I've been doing that for a long time. And one of the ways that we evaluate the value of a property for, say, owning, say, commercial space, is you can evaluate the property on what the market is willing to pay for the property. But another valuation tool that we use to support the value is how much the property earns every month. And you see that in Upland too with the mint price. The mint price is a function of the monthly earnings or vice versa, right? So especially in Upland where there is still limited utility for properties, the only thing that gives a property value, in my opinion, in Upland is how much it earns. So, and you're besides, maybe some other, non-monetary things, like maybe it's real world, address gives it some value, but when it boils down to it's how much it earns. And so the only way to manipulate how much a property earns is how many people send their block explorers to that property, right? So if you have a game that we've made, and that game will give you, let's just say your starting equipment for that game is actualized by map assets in Upland. So let's say it's a dungeon exploring game, right? And your character can have 3 different weapons, and there's, let's say, 100 weapons to choose from, but you want a bow and arrow, a dagger, and a sword. You need to send your block explorer to, let's say we did that with a node, let's just say Quailwood, right? You would need to send your block explorer to the 3 Quailwood properties that have a sword map asset, a bow and arrow map asset, and the dagger map asset, right?
Okay.
So those property owners are getting the benefit of the send fees.
Right.
So if it's a popular game and you've got tens of thousands of players that are playing it, let's just say every day, right? And you've
Fingers
bumped
crossed.
up, fingers crossed. Let's just say it's 100 people a day. And the Quailwood properties are experiencing 100 extra sends per day. You've boosted that neighborhood's average per property revenue by X number of dollars. And based on that extra revenue stream, you have therefore boosted the value of those properties as well.
Right.
So that's just an example of one of the mechanics that we'll utilize to benefit not only the players, but property values as well.
That sounds awesome. I think that's what a lot of people, I think, talk about is Upland is getting too far away from the reason people come to Upland, which is for the property. So I think incorporating that piece in there, forcing people. There's other games that kind of do that, but this seems like it might be on a different level, especially if it's specific properties. But kind of harking back to the core of Upland and forcing people to engage in the layer 1 core mechanics of Upland, I think is huge for I think people buying into your product.
Yeah. So, and then we talk about non-Upland players being able to play the game. So that's a benefit for having an Upland account. If you don't have an Upland account, say you don't get to choose your starting weapons, it's randomized. So then then you have an incentive to be, what's Upland? How do I, if I really like this game and I like this strategy or the storyline and I want to progress, I really need to get an Upland account so I can, start being more in control of my progression instead of leaving it to chance.
Right.
So, and then just to, the games are important, but another important aspect is corporate clients. And so we'll use Next World as a platform for B2C solutions, so business to consumer solutions. And as an example of that, probably I think one of the first ones that we'll work on after we get a slew of games out is we've got a client that's a top shelf tequila company, and they own all the verticals that are required to get a bottle of tequila from the farm to the store shelf. And so what they want is they want to gamify the process of tequila. And so they'll have a piece of digital land, and it'll depend on we'll probably have to pivot several times as Upland evolves. But the real goal is to bring farming into Upland, or if Upland doesn't, support the function, we'll have to start it outside of Upland, but based on Upland. And so what they want to do is they want to sell agave seeds to players. The players can then plant those agave seeds on their digital farm. And then, through QR code technology and robotics, the agave seed will sprout into an agave plant. And that agave plant, that digital agave plant, is going to be tied to an actual real world agave plant that's on their farm. So as the player tends to their agave plant, it will grow and mature. And then after it matures, they'll harvest it and take it to the digital distillery and go through the distillation process. And then they'll take it to the digital bottling plant. And then once it's bottled, they can burn their NFT bottle of tequila, and the company will send them a real bottle of tequila with a semi-custom label, so that, when they have a party or they break out that bottle, they can legitimately say, yo, this is my bottle of tequila. How do you like it? And of course, everybody will like it because it's a top shelf bottle of tequila.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Damn.
Yeah. So that's one of the clients that we'll have on the Next World platform. And so the people that are tending to worked into that, so getting a bottle of custom tequila like that will be a little bit cheaper than buying it from the store, because they put in part of the work, right? But for your agave plant, you're going to need to utilize digital resources in order to care for it. So worked into the price is going to be the cost of, buying the digital water resource from a Next World player to water their plant, etc. Glass for their bottle, all kinds of stuff. So it's just one of the many ways that the layer 3s and 4s will support the layer 2 production economy.
Man, you guys are going deep, which is awesome.
Yeah. So we built.
No wonder you guys got second place. I mean, fuck, I can't imagine what I didn't understand a lot about the aliens one, and like what you're talking about now, I'm sure was all in the presentation that Upland got, and it makes total sense why you guys got second. I can not imagine if this is what you guys got at second place. I don't know what the hell we're expecting with the aliens.
Actually, I was surprised when I saw their presentation, because I'm actually Alien Worlds player. I've been playing Alien Worlds for the past 4 years.
Really?
So getting to meet those guys was a real treat, and we still talk every now and then. Now we actually have some pending go-karts that they ordered from us.
Cool. My washer's going nuts at the moment.
Can't even hear it.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Damn, this sounds like super exciting, super ambitious. I'm gonna ask it because I don't know why I wouldn't. How far out would you say you are from being able to put some kind of product out that people could get their hands on?
It's I quote people about 6 to 8 weeks, starting next Monday, and it'll probably be a lot quicker than that because we're just going to be pushing out an MVP, the minimum viable product.
Mhm.
So it'll probably be a lot quicker than that. We've got 43 full-time devs that work for us. So we'll be pushing updates and products at a pretty quick pace.
Okay, that's much sooner than I thought you were gonna say.
23 dead. All right.
Damn.
Yeah. So
definitely not a
we're-
one-man operation like
I'm thinking
some
needs
other
help.
layer 2 games.
yeah, that when I forget who was telling me, they said that they only have like 40 devs at Upland. I was like, how do I have more devs than Upland? It's such a huge project.
I think Upland used to have more, but anyway, that's another
Yeah.
story.
You got a lot
Yeah,
you got a lot going on with Next World. It sounds like multi-layered and
I'll just say I heard tequila and I was hooked. I want my free
Yeah.
bottle of tequila.
dude, for real. Hook me up
I
with
need
that. Let's
I need
go.
a cheat sheet of what I need to do, what I need to achieve, so I can get this free bottle of the top shelf tequila. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we come from the sandbox and Roblox, which is why you see a lot of our old stuff is the voxel pixelated aesthetic. But we won in the last sandbox builders challenge out of 700 games. We won first, second, and fourth place.
Nice.
Oh shit.
And so our attention. So we're not going to use we can't use the 43 developers all on Next World. We'll have about 15 developers on these, probably the first 5 iterations of Next World before we start putting more resources into it, and then a 3-person marketing team. So it will be, because there's another sandbox challenge that's actually happening right now that we're building in as well.
Very cool. So
So-
do you guys? Sorry, go ahead, Swarley.
I was just going to ask, so the collaboration between Upland and Sandbox, would that be a good thing for you then? Or doesn't really
Oh,
make much difference?
just to hear you say that gives me chills. It'll be a good thing for us. There are some possible mechanics between the sandbox and Upland. I know Upland adds friction on purpose into the game, but I think there will be some unintended consequences that eliminate some of the pain points and friction that we experience in Upland. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think there's a lot of opportunity for builders everywhere with that collaboration, and I think that Upland will be able to, with that collaboration, I think Upland will be able to attract some upper tier developers to start building in Upland as well. And then Swarley, if you like working with Blender and learning there, the sandbox I think is your next step for just learning some really fun basic game development. They've got great tools over there that you can play around with, and I think your personality would really enjoy building anything over there.
We'll see how we go. I'm a bit time poor at the moment, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
So
I was gonna ask.
one thing the sandbox that's nice is we can build an apartment. Let's just say we build an apartment over in the sandbox, and it's say for a node in Upland, every room in that apartment can be owned by a property owner in the node, and each property owner can build their own miniature game inside their room in the apartment building. So you could, I think it's going to be an explosion of creativity with that partnership.
That I know almost nothing about Sandbox, so just that alone is pretty exciting to hear, and it's kind of got me thinking. It's definitely got me thinking.
So Swarley, you can tell Ben he can rebuild his spaceship shooter game in there.
He'll be listening to this, if not now, later on. So, he'll probably take up on that, to be fair, because I think he's sort of got the itch a little bit with all this. So I think if he sees the right opportunity with the right platform, I think he might just do that, just for, if nothing else, nostalgia.
Yeah,
It's probably
dust off his old code, as he referred
dust
to
it off and then try and remember what it all is, because
Right.
like if you don't use it, you lose it. So no, I mean, this whole metaverse, like we are so early in it, no one really knows where it's going to go, but the opportunities and the creativity is so huge that
Yeah.
I've played a couple of seasons of Sandbox. I don't play it anymore for certain reasons, but I'm not saying I wouldn't play it again, but just to see, like, it's only limited by your imagination, and where all these metaverses are in 10, 20 years time, I truly believe in it, which is why I'm here, why I'm spending my money, why I'm trying to get the ground floor. And I don't think there's just going to be one that takes off. So I think anything in the world, there's always a few that create competition and push each other along. So I don't think there's going to be any. So,
I want to interject, Swarley. I've always believed that Upland will function more in the future. Upland is going to function more as a utility versus a game. So I think it'll be the plumbing or the power lines to the future lands that are being built and developed on later. And when you talk, I don't think there will be so much competition at the Upland level of the metaverse, which, like I said, I think will be the plumbing. I think it'll be collaborations like the Sandbox, where two metaverses come together, and that collaboration creates an entirely new platform that people build upon, but it still needs to have Upland and, like, say, the Sandbox functioning underneath as the utility. And as an investment in the real world, the utility investments are the safest. Not only the safest, you make a lot of money on them as well if you get in early and cheap. Just take Warren Buffett's railroad track between Canada and the United States. He makes over $1 billion in fees from trains running on that railroad track.
God.
be nice.
Yeah, that's wild. Before we move on, I was going to ask about Roblox. You'd mentioned that your team builds games in Roblox, I'm assuming, as well.
Yeah, so we do Roblox stuff and Sandbox stuff. The ones that I've shared on Twitter are some of the few that aren't under that we can disclose that we're the development team on. What happens a lot in the metaverse is if you need something built, you're reaching out to what you think is a studio. But the studio doesn't actually produce anything. They're kind of more like brokers. And
Right.
so then they're the studio of record, though, right? Studio.
Mhm.
And then they contact us with the project. And so we do 100% of the development, the gameplay, sometimes we're even writing the scripts for these games. However, you don't get to see our name. You get to see the studio of
Well, you
records
see it in the
name.
credits. Yeah.
No, we're not even. There is no.
You don't even
There
get
is no
credited?
credits. No credit
Oh,
at all.
Lord. Okay.
But you don't need credit when everybody that matters knows that you're the actual builders. And
Right.
so I think in the Sandbox, I would conservatively say that we've produced almost conservatively 70% of the third-party content in the sandbox.
Shit. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So hey, man, you got to keep. It's hard to fill up 8 hours, 10 hours a day for 43 people.
I can only imagine. Yeah. I only brought up Roblox because my kids play that, I think, almost every single day. And they would be really excited to hear like some new levels or something. So at some point, if you want, point me in the right direction, and I'll share it with them.
Oh, maybe I can give you a couple scoops that you can only share with your kids.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah, they'd be very excited when I tell them, the things that I do, or like if I say, oh yeah, I talked to a guy that, has something to do with this. They'd probably be very excited about that. So, anyway,
people talk about mass adoption for the metaverse, and I think mass adoption is more about patience. The biggest population in the United States is boomers, and there's very few boomers that are going to, one, wrap their minds around the metaverse, and two, actually want to participate. They just, most of the ones that I know that are, and they're even in Web3, they cannot see the benefit to participate beyond entertainment. And then if they want digital entertainment, they want, a tower defense game that they can play for 5 minutes, in between, their volunteer work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, not to say boomers aren't playing in the metaverse. It's just that I think the population that's been digitized is very very small.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time, because I would imagine you guys as well get weird looks when you start talking about NFTs and metaverses and shit. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about that, and they kind of looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? And so I was trying to make examples of like, hey, you're already being like conditioned to use NFTs, I think, all the time, or wallets. They're just labeled as something different. And they're like, well, what do you mean? So I would say, well, look at, say, like your Fandango app or something like that, where you have movie tickets. Or I was at a Timbers game last night, and I was like, well, look at the SeatGeek app and your ticket. I said, that is one step. We are one blockchain away from that being an NFT. I said, it's already there. You already have to log into your wallet, which is your SeatGeek app. You already have to sign into your account, and then you have your digital ticket to get into the venue. The only thing preventing that from being an NFT is that it's not on a blockchain yet. I go, You're already doing it. Everybody has an account. You have your Fred Meyer or Kroger or whatever account you can get your coupons from. Those could be NFTs. And I keep telling people, I said, we are 5 years away, I think, from, I think you go into the DMV, and instead of getting your driver's license or whatever, and having it just be physical, that thing's going to be on a blockchain, and it's going to eliminate, things like illegal immigration, or being able to get an ID, like an illegal ID, forging IDs. Because if it's not on the blockchain, when they look at it, it's not real, and that they'll just be able to verify that everything on the blockchain.
Yep. And so you're doing exactly what's right, which is you have to show people how it'll benefit them.
Yeah.
One idea that we're kicking around with some brands, say take a luxury brand like Louis Vuitton that has a lot of knockoffs. How do you know, unless you're an expert, how do you know that the secondhand Louis Vuitton bag that you think you're getting a great deal on, how do you know it's real, right? Yeah. Well, if you made an NFT that was a replica tied to that physical Louis Vuitton bag, you would know. you would know that if the seller can't also transfer the NFT that represents that individual bag, that it's not a real Louis Vuitton bag. So
Right, yeah.
it solves the consumer problem of knowing if what they're buying is real, but it also solves a merchant problem or a producer problem. Louis Vuitton, they have a brand to protect, and knockoffs hurt their brand when they fall apart and somebody thought it was a real one. They're
Absolutely.
like, oh, Louis Vuitton bags, they ain't shit. I ain't ever
Yeah.
buying one of these again, right?
Right.
So, and then I just like the metaverse because it's anything you can imagine you can make, right?
Mhm.
What I would love in Upland is if there was a crypto wallet that was tied to my Upland account, and instead of 12 words that I need to, keep sacred and safe, I would love it if if my password was sending my block explorer to 12 predetermined locations in Upland, and that's how I unlock my wallet.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I just love whatever you can imagine, you can create, as long as you
Right.
either have the skill or the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think you're going to fall more into the money lane for most people.
Oh, yeah. I don't. Well, I am artistic, and I like, creating art. When it comes to the digital, like say Blender skills, I just don't have Swarley's patience to learn and figure it out. When I know that I can drop my guy his hourly rate, and he'll make me whatever I want.
Right. I need
And I
to
just
find one of
gotta.
those guys. I'm hoping that Swarley can be my guy, and I can be like,
Will
all right, man, let's do this.
Oh, next world will open up a third party take third party requests for assets in the future. We're already doing it with go karts, but
Okay.
as we see what the workload is, and if we have free time, then we'll open up the catalog to other sorts of requests.
I love hearing that. Okay. Cool. Any other tidbits about next world you wanna toss out there before we? I want to pick Swarley's brain about this Blender shit real bad.
Yeah, I love talking about Blender. I don't like using Blender, but I love talking about it. So I want to get the nostalgic first look through Swarley's eyes again. Feel that warm fuzzy feeling. I would just say that Next World, like all economy driven games, definitely rewards first movers. Definite. So we sold our first diamond statue about 2 hours ago. So
Those are the coolest looking ones, by the way. I was looking at all of them on the server, and I was like, I really want like those blue ones, man. Those are sick.
those ones definitely give you they all give you bonuses to start, so that you're not having to buy resources from other players that are producing resources. We'll always have a handle on the economy and control access, so that the economy's protected. But first movers usually benefit the most in these types of games. So you and Swarley are definitely going to have access as first movers.
Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you so much. And we have 3 white ones to give away. Those ones just allow access to the beta, correct?
Yeah, those ones are your ticket in. They don't give any starting bonuses, but you will be starting much sooner than the, say, general Upland public.
Right. And so, yeah, we have 3 of them to give away, which we'll do later at some point. So anybody who's still around, our stream at the time. I don't know what time we're gonna do it. Maybe near the end. We'll have a pretty good shot at getting that. So that's really exciting. I appreciate you hooking us up with that.
No problem. Let's get into some Blender, Swarley.
Yeah, let's hear
Yeah,
it. Tell me all about the cool shit you're making.
No drama. Well, bear in mind, I've been doing this for like a week and a half, so don't expect too much from me. I'm definitely no D-Tech or Tosshead or
Yet.
Menu. What's the name? Menu or D-Shack or yeah, and the list goes on and on. But those guys have all been super helpful, and I believe I saw a little post from I think Jason that they're going to try and create some videos in August to help people to get their head around. There's a bit of a gap between what, and I think you'll find this too, Jay. So like people can know Blender and be really good at that, but understanding what Upland require to get it through the Upland process is a different learning step again. Yeah, so
now you were doing that on the UGC channel in the Upland server, correct? I think I was peeping in on some of that earlier today.
yeah, so I asked a few questions there. I've done a few private chats with some of the guys too, which they've all been fantastic. Like I can't stress that enough. If you are wanting to get into it, don't be afraid to ask because they're giving up their time to help out. So it's fantastic, and their advice is really good. There's a lot of information that you can get just from YouTube. It's knowing what the questions are that you, at the start you just don't know what you don't know. You don't know where to start. And I jumped on there when I first got on there and said, like, well, how do I start? Where do I go? And she went, I think D-Shack just said, well, go to YouTube and Google some low poly tutorials and just follow them and see how you go. So I spent about 5 or 6 days just doing a bunch of those and working my way up until I got comfortable. And it was all that repetition of just using the same tools time and time again, following these tutorials, which I couldn't do on my own. Especially now I might be able to, but not really. Even now I still go back and watch something. Like I remember I did a certain thing, I added a certain material at a certain place. How did I do that again? And I'll go back and find that tutorial and go back to that and that's right. And then because you're just not doing it enough, but the basic tools doesn't take too long to pick up as long as you can spend the time doing it, and then you just continually improve. But yeah, learning the Upland process, there's not a lot of stuff out there. Obviously internet doesn't have a lot of Upland related material, so I think Jason and the team are going to try and create some stuff in the near future, which will be a huge bonus to especially guys like your team, Jay, being able to give them the heads up of what Upland require, because some of the steps are very, very simple, but if you don't know it, just ticking a checkbox here and there and stuff like that, it's just so simple, but if you don't know it, you wouldn't know where to go. So,
Or Upland updating the requirements, but not adding it to the Git book or user manuals, etc. And so you could just be lost.
Updating the requirements, and I'm still confused about this. So they created in the structure templates, they created what they called a guideline one. So you get like, say, the apartment building and has like these orange lines around it, which shows you got to stay within these orange lines. So you're staying within the boundaries of the structural ornament. And it does say in there you got a maximum height of 55 meters. Now the apartment building is about 33 meters, something. It's 30 something, 33, 36, somewhere in that range to begin with. So it gives you about 20 meters above it, you would think, to build. And the verification tools seem to back that up, but the guideline box only had it literally like maybe 5 meters above the apartment building. And everyone was like, well, hang on, this is not right. And then we'll fix that. And they fixed it. And now it's like 10 meters above the apartment building. Like it's still nowhere near high enough. And I'm like, hang on, you guys, like, I'm confused. Like, isn't this supposed to be the boundaries that we're supposed to work with? And you've only got it just above. And I'm like, hang on, this still doesn't make sense to me. Am I missing something? And I've created something, did the verification for it, and it was 54.9 meters, and it passed. And 55 point something meters, it fails. So I went, okay, well, it's 55 meters, it's that guideline box. So, look, I guess there's still a work in progress too. So, I mean, I don't know how much help Jason's got, but from what I've heard, I haven't had a lot to do with him, but from what I've heard, he's fantastic help and a really good person to bounce ideas off. But the whole community, it's not a competition with each other, it's a communication, like a community with each other to help each other, and it really isn't that hard to do, to be honest. Getting good at it, that's just time and practice. So I think to get D-Tech level, I mean, he's had a couple of years of doing this now. It's just going to be time and practice.
Yeah, you'll get that muscle memory for the things that you use the most, the most common ones. But like you said, what you don't know what you don't know. So even if you feel comfortable and doing what you do, I would encourage you to keep watching those tutorial videos because you'll find a technique or a tool that you just had no idea existed.
But even just like cleaning up your model, getting it ready for it. Like I only found out just in the last few hours that I can clean it up a bit and merge all my different little points, vertices as it's called, and with that, and just with a click of a button, I got rid of 1,000 vertices, which reduced my triangles by a fair bit. And it made no difference to the model whatsoever. I'm like, again, it's such a simple step, but I didn't know it until I came across it in one of the videos. So it's just going to be learning all these tips and tricks and stuff. It's just going to take some time. A week's not enough. So I'm not saying I'll never do anything for you, Rob, but not anytime soon.
Hey, I'm patient, man. Don't worry about me.
You
I got a factory that's built. It's going to take like a year and a half to build, and I did that on purpose because I'm not ready for that yet.
But I set myself a goal to have. Obviously, I want to focus on structural ornaments, but I probably maybe try and do some map assets here and there. But I do have a goal to some point in the future to build like a Lilligorp tower with a Swali Swindig or Swali Shack or something like that somewhere in Upland for one of the cities. So it's the winter competition and have it sitting in there. That would be pretty cool to have my own property sort of in there, like Lily did for her Lilligorp tower.
Be really cool to show your family and be like, hey, here, set up an account and go to one of my properties, and they go, holy crap, is that our last name in the game? You'd be like, yep, it sure is.
Well, I haven't got my last name in the game, but but yeah. But that's
jail. You can make like a prison fucking thing. Wouldn't that be something?
That's crossed my mind. I'd love to create a structural ornament for like a factory to turn it into a jail.
Yeah, put some barbed wire around it or something.
But you can't put anything on factories or meta ventures.
Yeah, yet.
Factories, because you got that area where it produces onto, you can't put anything outside that area.
Oh, you're right.
You can't, unless they change that somehow. Because I wanted to do that. I wanted to just put like different statues around my factory just to make it look prettier, and you can't.
You know what?
Like that.
What would be cool if we did like not we, like I have some sort of fucking ability to do something, but like a barbed wire fence you could put around your property, make like a compound. That would be kind of neat.
Well, send me a picture of it. So this is where I really struggle, and this is what I love about it is I'm not super creative person. I am not at all. Like I come up with ideas. Like I might come up with one good one a year if I'm lucky. I'll see other people's ideas and think, oh, I can maybe twist that or improve on that or something like that. But I love the challenge of give me a picture and build that, and I'm like, okay, I'll sit and. You just sit there and think, right, like I said before, there's multiple ways to build one thing in Blender. Like there's lots of different ways, and there's no one way that's right. And even the best Blenderers probably say that one will do it this way and one will do it that way, and they'll have the different arguments because they understand it a lot better as to why which one's better. Whether one uses smaller mesh, therefore less triangles, or one's just quicker and easier, I don't know. But like I said, there's no one way of doing it, but the challenge is there to learn how to do it. And if you don't know how to do a particular thing, there's a billion videos and so many free, great people out there teaching you how to use Blender. It's just fantastic. So if you've got the time and patience, it's definitely, I think in the long term, it'll be worth my time and effort. I think that's what I'm hoping anyway.
I'll send you some pictures of some sick barbed wire fence.
Yeah. I mean, I paid a couple $100 here and there to get certain things built for me for map assets, and they haven't quite got a plan yet. So I'm like, even though I spent that money, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to start again from scratch and do my own now. So I've got my head around it. I think I can do it. I'm pretty confident in structural ornaments. I don't know. I know there are differences with map assets and submitting them. So I'll have to go and learn that, but I don't know that it's too much different. But there are some differences. So,
yeah.
But we'll figure it out. But yeah.
What is it? I keep hearing. I don't know anything about Blender, but this baking process. what makes that so difficult?
It's scarier than what it seems. It's like I was terrified about when I first started. And you hear people talk about baking. I'm like, oh, that's the one thing that sort of put me off from doing it for ages. Again, there's Blue Rain and Manu did a video recently. It's only in the last couple of weeks where Manu ran Blue Rain through a just a really basic structural ornament. And I suggested if you got half a idea of what you're doing with Blender already, go watch that, because that's all about the Upland side of trying to submit something from Blender to Upland. And whilst it's not super clear and it's not the best made video, because it's mostly Manu talking to Blue Rain and just going through her process, so without that I'd be absolutely lost, because that video in itself showing me the Upland side of things was absolute gold. So I'm hoping that Jason creates videos like that which will help people to understand it. The baking process isn't as bad as it sounds. It's just, again, running through some steps. The steps are super easy when you know them. That's the catch. There's a lot of different things you got to do, and it's not hard if you write out a list, or if you know what you're doing. There's a whole bunch of steps you got to do, and then the baking process itself, depending on the settings you've got, only takes about 15-20 minutes, depending on how big it is and all that sort of stuff too. So that can be a little bit slow, and you could probably set up.
Baking is a process.
It's a process that basically creates, I guess, I don't know how to describe it properly, if I understand it even properly, but it's basically, it creates a JPEG that maps your whole model with all its colors. So it breaks it all down to all different sort of surfaces and just puts it all on a flat surface. And then Upland uses that JPEG and works out on that, basically on that map where you the colors from that piece come from. Again, it's all way too technical for me, but like I said, it sounds really scary, but once you figure it out, it really isn't. And that video between Blue Rain and Manu is absolutely brilliant for getting you through that process. So even if you just follow her, she just literally put a box on top of an apartment building, and then and a picture on the side of the building, just to get a bit of an idea of what to do, and then try and submit. You don't have to submit it. You just go to the playground and you try and get it verified there, to get it to give you all the green ticks, so to speak, and then you start getting your head around it. So, but that's definitely a great place. I've probably watched that video through 15 times, just learning all the steps, and I've now created like the word list of the steps, just to remind myself, so I don't need to go keep watching the video. I just look at this and write, just to make sure I haven't forgotten a step, because all you need to do is forget one step in the whole process, and it's fucked. And you've got to, depending on where that step was, you may have to start all over again, or
it's a fickle bitch.
So it's, but once you know that, like I said, once you know it, it's not hard. It's just a lot of little steps to get there, and it's daunting. I can understand why it's daunting if you don't know. It's just, oh my god, it's too much, but it's not, I think it's worth it. So if anyone's if you know what you're doing in Blender, go watch that video, and you'll be 90% of the way to be able to submit stuff to Upland.
Okay.
So, submitting stuff and getting it approved, two different things.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Amen.
So, I've heard lots of different things. I mean, yeah.
You showed me one thing the other day.
Yeah, I won't go into too much exactly what I was trying to do. I showed you a picture. I'm not ready to share that to the world yet. But basically, it involves having a Spark logo on a building, the Sparklet logo, on the building. And I got told by, I think, DJ, what's her name? D-Shack, sorry, that you can't use the logo because Upland own it now. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. But there's someone else who's already used the Spark logo and created that in structural ornament, floating in the air, mind you, which you're not allowed to do it anymore either. So I'm like, I just thought because it was Upland already, they wouldn't care, but apparently they will. So apparently it's
change it ever so slightly.
Well, no, it'd have to be different enough that, because even copyright laws, isn't it a certain percentage or something? It has to be different. So I don't know. I'll have to just change it up. But again, even if it just gets knocked back and I can't put it in there, the learning curve, just creating it, was awesome. I actually had to do the whole project twice. The first night was the night we were playing poker, and I ended up staying up all night. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. The missus came out and went, what the hell are you still doing up? And I was so engrossed, and I didn't even realize the sun had come up. But I'd spent probably 14 hours non-stop creating this model, and then and it didn't work because it was outside the boundaries of the apartment building. So I'm like, okay, I know how to create this now, but with inside the apartment building. So I'm like, I'll create this. And second time around, I did it in about 2.5 hours, just because of my learning curve, and I already figured out. So each time I do stuff now, it just gets quicker and quicker. So, hopefully another 12 months or so, I'll be at D-Tech level if I keep up with it. But
just to interject, Swarley, I always encourage people to submit no matter what they think will be approved or not approved. In our experience, they have always given very constructive feedback on rejections, on why it's rejected, and then what to look out for.
Yeah, I have submitted anyway, and I figured it's going to get knocked back, and I've already got a plan B if it does get knocked back, how to fix that. I was actually working on that before the show started, but I'm going to start trying to create some map assets and see if I can work out how to get them submitted too next. So the fence just may be sooner rather than later.
Oh man, then maybe I got to get the factory going.
You
have one already up? You own the factory?
Yeah, I've got two.
That's right. You already have some map assets out there in the world, don't you?
I do, but they weren't ones I created or requested. That was a long story. I'll make a long story short as I can. I got the boys over at Donut or the Upland. I can't remember what they're called. They are pretty good. So if anyone wants to get something made for them, the Discord channel's Upland Ready Assets, and I think there's a couple of guys there, Slav and Land for Land, who have been they're Blender gurus, and they can knock up something basically in 24 hours, depending on their time frame. They've obviously got other projects to work on, but they're really quick and really good at what they do. But what they knocked up for me wasn't working. There was issues with the footprint with Upland, so I've never introduced them into the game because I wasn't happy with the footprints. And
I remember hearing you talk to Ben about that.
Yeah, well, it basically had two panels, identical, pretty much identical except for mirror images of each other, and one had a wider footprint than the other, and you try to sit next to each other, and it just created this gap that was visual, and I just hated it. I'm like, hang on, this one's got a really small footprint, this one's a big footprint, why can't we have them the same? They're going, and they just kept coming back going, no, it's not our fault, it's your fault. And I'm like, but and I knew nothing about Blender, so I'm like, as far as I know, it's not my fault, but
right.
So I'm just going to start again from scratch and create it. But yeah, so by having bought that from them, commissioning them to build it for me, they put me in some drawer with anyone else that bought stuff from their site, which I think they still do. I'm not 100% sure on that. And I got lucky and won the fountain, so I was like, happy day. So I guess it worked out in the end. So effectively, it cost me some money to get that fountain, and I just build them and only sell them for 2,000 UPX. I figured if anybody wants them, they're there. There's a 10,000 of them or something. So I'm like, I'm not too stressed. If they sell, they sell. They don't, they don't. I don't mind them, but yeah, I like to write stuff on them. And did I show you my my totems resting place at the moment?
No. Oh wait. Maybe. Just show me anyway, just in case I don't remember.
All right, I'll show anyway. And for anybody else that hasn't seen it, share screen. There we go. All right, share. So we go over to my Queens. I'm still in the process of leaving Queens, but which property is it? That's this one here. So that's my fountains being used to good.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Put it to good use.
With Leban's.
With his graveyard.
Graveyard headstones, yeah. So
awesome.
Rest in peace, totems. You're not doing anything at the moment, so maybe
shit.
I'll get 4 more and add to it. But yeah,
I was just thinking about wanting to get. I think I was talking about in one of my other videos while I was driving down the road about wanting to get totems again because I'm a stupid idiot. I just want to punish myself with more totems, I guess.
Well, if you can, I mean, assuming they don't change the criteria of them, just try and buy one green one. That's a 24-hour cycle. Yeah. You can just do it at the same time each day. You don't have to. See, I'd almost argue green's better than gold because gold's every 2 days. So it's 48-hour cycle.
Oh, for sure.
But you got to remember which day did you not do it and which day didn't you do it. Like where Green One's like every day at 8 p.m. I've got to feed my totems, or whatever.
Or if you just go to Buellman's site, it tells you exactly what day you need to do it and just mark it on your calendar.
Yeah, which if it's every second day, but like the problem with every second day is this week it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Next week it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Where I think the Green One 24 hour, and from what I understand, you don't get any extra. Other than having not defeated as often, you don't get any extra protem out of it. But
well, unless you fuck up and your penalties could be worse, and I think the threshold for penalties.
Well, in that case, you want the round base one because you don't get penalised or some crap. Again, I had all these totems and I only started one in the last time and thinking, I'll figure out how it all works and then I'll do more next time, and there hasn't been a next time.
Yeah. Well, next season, sizzle season. You'll get to fire them up.
Well, they do like saying, hey, Lorraine, how are you?
We got a guest. We got another guest.
Live. So
What?
you're being streamed on my live as I join your live. I was going through Upland's community, like the community feed, to see what was on there and like doing it live. And I saw your come join us. And so I was like, let's see. That was an hour ago. See if they're still on. You are.
We are about 2 hours. I think.
Really? Are you doing any Blender work? What are you doing?
I'm non-stop. I haven't stopped for a week and a half. We're just talking about it. I won't go over it too much more. But yeah, your video with Manu the other day, I've watched that so many times trying to get my head around the process of submitting something.
Yeah.
Which I think I've got nailed now. So I think I got it down pat, which is really good. So now I need to move on to other stuff. But yeah, there needs to be more content like that and I think Jason hinted that they're going to create that, which would be good.
Yeah, I think right off the bat. Yeah, it'd be very helpful. Oh, should I hang up?
No,
We'll probably still be here for the best part of another hour if you want, but stay on that, whatever makes you happy. We haven't really started talking about what's happened in the last day or so. I mean, we normally our show's just about chatting, just hooking up. Uplanders chatting, so it doesn't have to be about Upland that we normally chat. I mean, we've chatted about
I was chatting about Upland. I was chatting about this guy. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the player. He doesn't have, or she, I don't know. The player doesn't have chat turned on, but I was sharing, like, if you go, the player's name is Malice Sky, and Malice Sky owns like this whole little pie I've showed before, like Sherman Oak Circle. It's like a whole circle pie, and there's like divided into properties or whatever, and that player owns all of it. So I was just checking him out, and then I went to see his home address, and it was on Clark. So I was like, let me go see what's up with this area, because this player just seems like they have a lot of special properties, and like he bought the whole row of Clark in Chicago, and I was like, I guess that's what the players must do, like buy everything around whatever and monopolize it to himself or herself, because like the whole street's like all his, and then Abdullah has like a big piece. So like I feel like this player's just someone to watch, but they don't have their chat turned on. They have over 1,000 properties, and so it's like, why are you so invested in Upland but you don't turn on your chat? Like, you obviously like the game. So why would you turn on chat?
Maybe they're in Discord, but they could be in Discord under a different name even.
Maybe, yeah. I tried finding the person too. Like, I wanted to like get that. I wanted just a little piece of the pie. I was like, give me one slice of that pie.
That's the good thing about it all being online, isn't it? You can sort of all on the blockchain. You can sort of dive into an account and see what they've been up to and what they're doing. And
yeah,
I do like that aspect. Like, but you got to keep that in mind too. Not that I do anything on Upland that's private, but you just keep in mind.
Yeah.
So, like, if I do get something approved, as soon as I start producing it, people can see it, and I'm like, even if I don't put it up for sale, and I'm like, so I don't. Can they see even if it's in your factory? Like, even if you're not producing it, can they see?
When they go by the factory, they can look at the factory and see what's in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
No, not in the queue, but just if you've got certain things approved. So say I'm waiting on to get a whole collection.
No, not until you put it in the queue. I don't think it shows up.
Okay.
Yeah, but once you do, then that's the thing. Yeah, someone wanted to give me something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll make it like, I think they're like 1UpX or something." And I was like, maybe I'll just offer you like 1,000 just in case, because of the community feeds. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, what's going on with those players?" Like,
it's that same thing the other day. I was like, let's just bump this up a little bit, just because it's gonna say that you bought it for $1 or 1UpX. I'm like, that's gonna look weird. Just want to stay above approach here.
It's easy just to swap. I think just swap and then.
Yeah.
What are you
So I-
making in your ornaments? Oh, so sorry. I was just so curious, like what you're pushing, what you're trying to.
To
Yeah.
be fair, I do have a theme in mind that I want to create a whole bunch around, which is not what I've been working on at the moment. I've been working on just something which is it was sparklet related, which I've been told that I can't do because it's
Oh,
got to go. So I'm expecting it to get knocked back. So I have got a plan B of how to adjust that to make it not sparklet. Because the good thing about Swiley is it also starts with an S.
that's true.
So if that gives you a bit of a hint. So
Yeah.
basically, it's a structural ornament. Something I've always wanted to do. Exactly what I wanted to do, I can't because the boundaries outside the apartment are so tiny. You can't put anything other than a plane on the side of the apartment. Like
Right.
as soon as you try and put anything else on the side, it's too wide. So
Mhm.
you can put a plane, which is effectively all you can do is either put a color or an image on the side, which is really annoying. And then you've got the bit of space above the apartment building that you can do stuff with. So I've just been, to be fair, mostly I've been learning. And just trying to
Me
get something
too.
through the submission, which I've done. I submitted something, so it's now they're ready to be rejected. But at least I can now say I created something from scratch all the way through to finish. Like I said, I'd show you privately, but I'm not going to show it on stream at the moment. Not until it's approved or
Until it's ready.
I can show you all my rejections. I got a rejection because just today, actually, I had a bus stop. I put it in the video, and I really wanted to show it, but they're like, "Oh, no public infrastructure." It also had a picture of the ocean on it, and so there was three different reasons.
What's a helicopter pad then?
So that's before the rules changed. Just like there are a lot of people who have things that are like they're now like not allowed. So their things are going to be worth maybe more to people because you can't get that kind of stuff right now.
Alright,
So, yeah. So no public infrastructure.
So I had Tosshead make for me an apartment structural ornament months ago. I think he started doing it about the time they closed off submissions, and it's been sitting there ready to be submitted for all this time. And it does include having a helipad on the top of the building.
I don't know. Maybe I don't
There's
know.
map assets out there that you can buy to put on your ground. Like,
Yeah, but maybe those. I don't know. Maybe it's not as maybe it's not as big a deal as a bus stop. I don't know. They told me no public infrastructure, no
Well-
photorealistic elements. I had like a picture of the ocean on the back of the bus stop, and they also said no. There was another reason that went with it, and I cannot let me look and see actually. So you can have all the reasons this won't be approved. It was. It says, yeah, this is so weird because this one doesn't. This is why I forgot it because it's not really actually applicable. But they put the model can't be any form of transportation, which it's not. It's a bus stop. So the public infrastructure I get, but the transportation part, like there's no bus anywhere. Like there's no transportation. So I don't know.
yeah, because initially I wanted with my apartment that I've got, well, probably not coming now. Because I'm thinking of like the cars or the Genesis ones from a couple of years ago with the trucks and cars and that floating above the house. Because I hadn't read all the rules. This is going back a few months. I hadn't read all the rules and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd love to have a chopper sort of landing on the top of this building onto the helipad. And he goes, oh no, you can't have floating stuff anymore. I'm like, all right, can you just have it landing there? Can you just have it landing on the helipad? And he goes, but you can't have transport. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
what can I have? And he goes, well, just have the helipad. I'm like, sweet. And now you tell me I can't even have that. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just submit a blank friggin' apartment building.
I mean, they really curtailed a lot of I think creative things that people were trying to do, but I feel like they're gonna hold it for themselves. Like, oh, we'll put out a bus stop. Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
you can get a bus stop bundle.
It'll be one item, and then Swirler have a fucking meltdown because they call it a
Right.
bundle.
Yeah.
Actually, I was wrong last week. It was because they sold those map assets as two, so it was a bundle.
This time the stars.
Yeah,
But I think
so
it said Starlit, but then there was a flag in there.
so you get two. So I bought a couple of them, but you get two of the three different assets. So I end up with one of each, which is really good.
Me too.
And two of the stars. So I'll probably, I don't know, just
I sold
see.
them.
Maybe one day in the future they'll burn these three, and you'll get something really cool. So I might just wait for that.
Maybe.
I was
true.
thinking the same thing. I'm like, I'm just gonna snatch this thing up. You never know what the hell they're gonna do with it.
So I'm not American, so I don't really care
get
too
the
much. I mean,
crap.
I wouldn't want an Aussie version of them, obviously, but
Taxi
Well,
stand.
taxi
Oh,
stand.
that'd be nice. Yeah.
That's
No,
just the sign, isn't it? And there's like parking signs and stop signs and traffic lights in the game. So
say Lyft, Uber.
Yeah.
Instead of Uber, I could be like, it's something else. I mean, I don't
anyway,
know.
we can
That's
segue to the map
complicated.
asset that they released overnight, which is that you can register for now if you haven't already. What do we think about that? Have
Wait, you
guys
mean
seen
the
it?
block explorer? Or what are you
No,
talking
the Aviation Hero map asset.
I thought it was a block explorer. It's a map asset.
Yeah. It's that little guy with wings.
Yeah,
Oh
there's-
yeah. For some reason, I thought it was a block explorer. I don't want that. I just like I don't really like go
Well,
for.
there's only 110 of them, so it's not a huge amount, but they are
I
like
don't like the little
USD,
bastard. I
so-
want one.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And it's 2 a.m. for me, and I'm like, how much do I want it? But it's USD, so I'm not going to sell it super quick. But I'm like,
Do you want it because you want it, or you want it because you think you're gonna sell it? Because I just don't think they're gonna sell, which is why I don't want it.
I want it because it looks cool. I just want to put it on one of my properties.
Blue Rain, the one thing about me with Upland is everything I do today isn't for today. It's 99% of it, I should say, is down the track. So I am really, really, really investing in the game by time and money and stuff like that, or believing that Upland will one day boom again. I
Again.
Well, I
Be
think
great again.
I think
Well, it's gonna be great
closely
again.
linked to the I think it's closely linked to the crypto cycle. So I think when the crypto goes through its boom run, which I think is late this year into next year, so probably the back half of that is when Upland will start. You'll start seeing that spike in activity, hopefully higher than what the last spike was. But you just never know. So, we'll have to
Jason,
wait
do
and
you have
see.
any interest in this thing?
Not particularly.
So $12. I'm like, that's
You're not gonna get that back yet.
so in UpX terms, that's probably close to somewhere around the 35,000 UpX. Yeah, so I don't know. I've registered. Whether I buy it or not is a different story, but I've registered.
Yeah, I registered too. Just we'll see. If that depends what time I get to work. If I get to work before it releases, then there's no way I'm getting it because I can't take my phone with me. They don't allow your personal cell phones in.
And you're not, buddy.
You're in
iOS
prison.
either.
You work in prison.
Yeah, I work in a prison.
You can't have a cell phone on you.
I can have my work cell phone, but they don't allow me to bring personal electronic devices in.
And the work cell phones were produced and bought in the late 1990s, so it would never support
No
Upland.
internet.
Oh, I mean, I have a iPhone 14 as my stupid work phone, but it's gated
Oh,
by
nice.
all the state agency bullshit. I can't download apps or do anything with the stupid thing. I can make phone calls, lots of phone calls.
I'll agree with that, Jimmy. So it's just Jimmy's comment. I'll agree with that because I first found Upland long before I started playing it, and I looked at it and just went, WTF. And then I sort of went away from it and didn't come back for 2 years. And now I massively regret because I'm pretty sure that was still when only San Francisco was released. I remember looking at San Francisco and just going, I don't know what to do. I mean, San Francisco had been released for some time at that stage, but so I think I had my 5,000 UpX and everything cost more than that. And I was like, yeah, it's too hard. But to be honest, now there's so many videos out there. Obviously, Upland. Is it Upland?
Upland guide.
Upland Guide, yeah, he does a stack of video. There's so much information out there now how to play Upland, and it hasn't changed that much. That even some of the older content still isn't. That's still relevant. I mean, treasure hunting's got harder, but it's still relatively the same.
I get really nostalgic when I go back to San Francisco and remember buying properties there for 3,000 UpX.
I regret that. Looking back now, I'd gone into another NFT and I'd spent quite a few $1,000s in that, and it's gone nowhere so far. It's not dead, but hasn't gone anywhere. Hopefully, it comes back. But I wish I'd put that money into San Francisco and then into Manhattan, and where I probably would be chief executive already by now, if that was the case. But it could have, should have. But again, like I said, it just wasn't the videos going back those days because it was so new. There wasn't any content creators. There wasn't really anything. And Upland didn't have anywhere near as much stuff. Like even the those little tutorials and little missions that you got to do when you first start, they all help you to sort of get started and get a clue. So I think it's a lot easier to start Upland today than what it used to be. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot more information out there now than there was even when I started. I had no idea. I sat on the app. I think I got my Uplander status, and then I sat for like 6 months. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but
Yes.
and then I think I fell on some YouTube stuff, and I was like, oh wait a second, I have this game. Let me fuck around.
My account got what is it when you get timed out? The visa expired or something like that, and I had to reactivate it or something. So
Oh, when you're a visitor.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even get that far. I was like, yeah, it was a little too hard, and I'm like, yeah, done. And just anyway, regrets. We're full of them, but one door
Yeah.
opens, other one closes. Who knows? I was going to ask something now, I forgot.
Lauren, did you go outside today? Didn't you guys hit some sort of record temperature in Las Vegas?
I did go outside. I did go outside, and it did not seem record temperature hot to me, but my computer was giving me like a heat warning. It was like heat advisory, and I was like, I clicked on it. It was like the weather was like heat advisory warning, but I didn't notice it. Like, actually, okay, I will say it was hotter in my car, and like I did the whole like put my hand to the air to make sure my air was working. Oh, it's coming out cold, but it was still really hot in the car for a bit. So
Yeah.
the car was definitely taking a bit to cool down, but it wasn't strikingly hot or anything. I left my wallet in my car the other day, and my cards are all bent. Like my ID's warped, my debit card got warped just from being in the car.
Crack your window just a fraction.
It's like
Yeah.
those debit
Literally,
cards.
a finger width thick. It's all it needs to be, and it'll stop that car from heating up
Yeah.
that little bit more.
Yeah,
I remember what I was going to say now. So in relation to new players, all you need to do now is chuck in the question into Upland's general chat, and Elslak will answer it on his way to work.
That's true.
Yeah.
I will.
So
To the best
if
of
you
my
don't know what
ability.
you're doing, and the guy's as honest and truthful as they come. So if you can't answer it, then it can't be answered.
That's right. If I don't have the answer for it, it doesn't exist, and you might as well just quit.
All right, let's move on. So, like I said, there was 3 bits of news that happened in the last 24 hours, so we should at least discuss it. It did not go over it in the
I guess,
fine
yeah.
cone, but
Either way.
what do you think about this? Asking for ideas for a city release. I mean, this is supposed to be the most exciting part of Upland, and the city's being released, and they want to try and create it more exciting because they're not happy with the way it's going, and that's. I mean,
think they're
obviously
just
the
trying
map asset idea for Washington didn't work too well.
I think they just are looking for people to validate their own ideas.
Yeah.
That was like, oh yes, that's the one I want. We're going
No,
to do this one anyway.
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with crowdsourcing intel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You never
yeah.
know what'll pop. You never know what'll pop up.
I 100% agree with that because the
Mhm.
community is, and I don't think there's enough communication between the community and Upland in general, full stop. And even developers will say the same thing. They Upland change their APIs and don't tell them what's going on, and you find out one day when your app's crashed or whatever. I know from being a treasure hunter and going just to the what do you call it, Discord bot, just to see my stats. That from time to time they just crash because of things that change. But no, so I like the idea that they are reaching out. Whether hopefully they listen to us, but I'd like to know. I know Elslak's always got some good ideas of how Upland can improve, so I thought he'd be all over this one.
I put in some submissions.
What were your ideas?
Oh man, now you put me on the spot. I try to remember. I think one was like a blind city release where you go to the city and then
You don't know where it is. You find it on
you don't know
the
what property you're just buying off of Up Squared, and then that's it. And
What?
then when they do collection reveal, they tell you what property you got. But you're buying the size that you want, but you have no
All right,
idea
so-
where it's at.
Okay, but take it from someone like myself. Like I've just sort of progressed into the I used to love city releases, and I'm assuming that JSO is the same. Where now they're a bit, I'd rather just sort of sit around and see what happens afterwards. Like city releases for me now, if I'm interested, I might go there, especially at 2 a.m. It makes it hard, but I might go there and I might pick up 3 properties. Usually aim for a street. If I think there's a certain street might be a collection, I'll look at the information. Like the assassins are usually pretty good. and that'll be my city collection if it misses the street. But I wait for the collection reveal because they don't sell out. So the old days, yeah, you'd have to go and get the collections on the city release, otherwise you wouldn't get them, or at least speculate on them. But now I'd rather just go the week after when the collection's revealed. Yeah, they go up in price, but so do your UPX returns, so that doesn't bother me. And pick up a couple of collection properties only. So I guess to me, that's what they're trying to stop, trying to make someone like myself more interested in coming to Upland.
I think the last city release that I participated in was Manhattan.
Whoa.
See, I was like, that's crazy. When I first started, I was like, that's crazy. City releases are the most exciting fun. Imagine if you snag them. And the only thing that makes me want to keep trying is I'm yet to ever mint a ultra rare. So I haven't even come close to I mean, obviously I've got the rares now, and they're not too hard to mint because there's still rares available in Bermuda if you got 4.5 million.
It's for like a
Yeah,
sandy.
I'm more of a ghetto king. I like to buy floor properties and a lot of them, and yeah, always buy, never sell. That's my motto.
Well, that's pretty much been my motto over the last 2 years, and that's when Blue Ray was saying about the map asset. Like, if I buy now, it's not to sell now. It's because I'm buying it because I like it, and B, I'll put it in the shop for a stupid price, like 100,000 UPX, and if someone bought it, happy days. But if they don't, I don't care because I'm not really interested in selling it. So.
I don't
So if some sort of, like, that's crazy about these season passes, because some people just had them in the shops for stupid prices and they've freaking sold because of the last announcement, which we won't go into again. Like, I heard them selling as high as $70, so that's 10x on a USD. Like, that's pretty good return. And I said to Ben, like, I would, like, if you're just buying for investment purposes, I'm sure there's better investments out there. I even said that on the show. I was wrong. A 10x on your money is a pretty good return, albeit only $7. But
I don't like the passes or the frost, whatever. I don't do. I actually was just in my own life saying I refer to those badges as a badge of shame because it just means you buy whatever Upland sells you. Sorry if you bought it, but but
I have all three.
Me too, and I hate them all. I think they all suck.
But about the properties, like buying them and selling them and whatnot, that with the open, like with the city release, I feel like like the first Bermuda or whatever, I went and traveled just because it was like, you know, that was like the whole like, it's a guess or whatever, like, is it gonna happen? And but I didn't really want to buy any. But then afterwards, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and participate. Like when they did this whole full release, whatever, I was more interested this time around, only because it was like, oh, well, this place they can't expand it. Like, so, like, I guess that kind of city I'm more interested in now. Like the ones I know are like, that's gonna be it or whatever. So for the future, it's all, you know, there's no more expansion or whatever. But it's for like other cities, like the Paris. I am kind of, maybe it's almost like I'll go and try to get really cheap mints initially, like if I can, because I feel like it seems like it's worth it though, like to try to get it. If you have the UPX, it's
cheap would be 50,000 UPX or something like that.
Like, maybe, who knows? Look at Washington and how they like screwed that up. So I don't know. You might have some cheaper properties.
But why is Washington so expensive compared to other cities?
I don't know.
Because you could buy 1,000 like. Joe, so you're just saying you could buy 1,000 UPX property or less than 1,000 in San Francisco, couldn't you? Like even Manhattan, how much was that costing? Like, and then all of a sudden you've got Washington. Yeah, it's a capital city, but you got a standard property that's 100 and something thousand.
Not a capital city; it's the capital.
Or literally like 50 up squared. Like, it's not even huge. It's like 50 up squared, and it's 100 and something thousand UPX in a little suburb called Friendship or something. Like, why the hell is?
I love Friendship Heights. It's like that has to be a node. I just can't. I mean, you gotta, like, I was like waiting to buy something in that one.
Dude, I'm all about team friendship.
Friendship Heights.
Like, I think I own 2 properties, and they're just for my treasure hunting web. And I was like, I'll try and get as many I can around the borders of that suburb, so I don't have to buy as many in that suburb, because it's just ridiculous. But a cheap property in Washington's like 25,000. If you can mint something for 25,000, you're doing well. Like, that's crazy. But on the other hand, I don't.
16,000. Like when I was in Washington, I was like 16,000. I think I got one for 15. Like, they were like, to me, that's cheaper now than what it
They're
was.
not there anymore. So
yeah,
but
so
I don't understand why they keep going to these super expensive releases. I mean, you look at Rio de Janeiro, like that sold out 3 or 4 times straight away.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that better?
Cheap.
Create that FOMO, create that competition, create that, desire to compete. Like,
I don't know.
Well,
I think
that's the
you
number
want
one.
that $3 floor.
you want to make the releases interesting? Drop the effing prices.
I think they should put Spark out there. That was my idea. I was like, hide some Spark chests at some random properties.
That'll drop the spark
And
prices.
you'll keep minting if you know they haven't got all this. For like, well, where's that Spark chest at? Might be worth it for me to go ahead and just mint this property and see if I hit the Spark. I think if they did enough of that, I think there'd be more interest in seeing what we get, because people are like, well, I'll get a property out of it and I might hit a Spark. Definitely would be minting.
Yeah, so again, I'm probably a little bit out of touch with the real world now because I've got 60 spark. I really
Oh my
a
god.
little bit of spark.
You
Like,
don't care.
you get 0.1 or one spark. It's like,
Wish I
yeah,
had
that's
that
just a
much.
day's hunting. Like, that's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
where other players are like 0.1, that's like,
Yeah, for us,
So-
that's like a whole hour.
even the full spark you guys got for going to Genesis week. So all three of you bloody got that. I didn't. But I'm like, I don't care.
I doubled my spark balance by
Yeah.
doing that.
Where for me, it would have been, 2% more or something?
Yeah, it would have been a drop in a bucket for you.
I wouldn't have even noticed it. You could just airdrop it to me and I'd be like, I thought I only had 59 or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, my goal was 75, so we'll see. I'm still aiming for it.
Well,
Oh, I put another submission in, and this was specifically for you, Swarley, that they released the city at 9 a.m. at the time zone of the actual city's release.
hmm.
Like,
This is
if it
what
was
we thought they
Australia,
were doing.
It would be 9 a.m. Australian time.
When they did Rio, which was the first international city, they did do it at 9 a.m. Rio's time, or at least the first one. I don't know if they did it for all of them, but at least the first release of Rio was at 9 a.m. Rio's time. I can't remember what that was for you guys. I think it was a little bit later because they're not that far ahead of you in the time zone. 'Cause
Are
they're
you
just a little-
sure?
I think it.
Yeah, they're only like south of you and a little
we were
bit
watching
east,
the World Cup, and it was difficult.
but I'm almost positive that was 9 o'clock Rio's time, which is only an hour or two later than what you guys were used to in America. But everyone thought, oh, sweet, it was 9 a.m. the local time. So if this is the way it's going to be for the rest of the world, happy days. And then they released Tokyo, which is an hour ahead of us, at friggin' 9 a.m. PT. It was like 1 a.m. Tokyo time and 2 a.m. for us. It was like, or the other way around or something like that. And it's like, all right, we give up. Like, if they're ever going to give Australians a chance at this game, that was it. And you still went, nah, fuck yes. And to be fair, like, even you guys, surely sometimes you want something that's not in the middle of your workday. Like, most people work, don't they? Or have commitments during the day. I mean, I heard Goldie say he missed out on a asset buy last week because he was busy during the middle of the day because it was at 12 o'clock his time. So
Wow.
mixing up the time, like, there's got to be better ways to do all these sales and releases. But I think local time is the answer. But that's the fairest way if you ask me.
I think your fair is right. That's why I'm on board with
I
it.
don't want to pay overtime. Well, that could
Yeah,
be
they're like,
exactly.
somebody to work those
I
hours.
can't
You
afford
may be
it.
onto something there.
I mean, they do have
late night.
people in Europe now too, so they could almost cover the 24-hour time zones of the full planet. Anyway, so
No.
I honestly don't have any clue. Like, when I thought about this, I just went, I've got nothing for this release. Like, I don't think there's really too much wrong with it, other than the prices. I don't think there's too much wrong with city releases. I think they've got it right now with doing it in a release or an expansion per season. If Upland took off and was really, really popular again, maybe they could do a dual city release or dual expansion or something like that, which everyone talks about. But personally, I think releases are just fine.
What do you think
they-
about that?
The time just sucks for you.
Yeah, I mean, that is for city releases, I don't get too upset for that because it's got to be someone's going to get screwed. And to be fair, there's
Yeah.
probably a dozen
Always
Aussies.
you guys.
Yeah, but that's-
You guys are always getting the shaft. It's not
but-
really fair.
But what's really annoying is like things like the map asset sale, like this one tonight. Like, okay, it's a USD one, so it's not going to sell fast anyway, so I know that. But like an hour before the release, they send the email out telling you where you are on the list. Why does it have to be an hour? Why
Yeah,
can't it be
there's no reason for
even
that.
4 hours? Still makes it 10 p.m. our time, which means we go to bed and go, oh, I'm first in the list. Okay, I'll set the alarm, I'll get up, and I'll definitely be able to get one. But when you got to wake up to see if you can buy one, and you look at it and go, I've got a 45-minute wait. Fuck it, I'll go back to sleep. It's like, so that's where we get really frustrated. There's no consideration for the 24-hour time zone for the whole planet. Like, it's a global game. Try and start thinking global. And why do we need to have all of them sold at once? Why can't we have 2 sales 12 hours apart?
That's true. That's a good point. I mean, I think it's again probably their manpower. I'm gonna go ahead and register for this, even though I don't even want it, and I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just like, you just made me think. I feel like I'm gonna.
Yeah, I used to do that, and then I got like, you are first for something I didn't want to buy. It's like anytime I've been first in the queue, and it was something I didn't even was interested in buying. I was like, yeah, that's
the way it always goes.
I just noticed that this 30K Upix Liberty, like for the $30, is still like on the market too, like 90 of them left over. So those aren't even selling, even with the Upix incentive.
I was going to bring that up because those things are like barely trickling out, and normally those ones kind of go for it. They go kind of quick.
USD.
Even the USD ones, but usually those are tied to cities, and this one isn't.
But we've been milked for so much USD in the last 6 months. It's crazy.
Oh, I know.
You think about all the different USD sales, it's absolutely effing crazy. This second potion sale is an absolute joke. I won't try and hide behind words here. I thought the first one was stupid. The second one is just, to me, it was just a nothing but a cash grab. And like I said on Ben's show, it just scares me that they're doing this because do they need the cash that much? And if the answer is yes, like that scares me.
But is it a need, or is it just, we can get it and we see we can get it, so what's our next one that we do and we get some money?
I think it's less of a need, more.
You need to spend money to grow. So like, I don't begrudge them. That's why I buy the season passes, and I don't. Unlike you, Blue Rain, and I'm not dishing you for your opinion like that's a shame badge, but I see my $7 to Upland is my commitment to. Yes, I'm behind Upland's development, and even though I might whinge and bitch about certain things of Upland, overall I love the game. I want to see it succeed. I've invested both time and money into the game. And I'm hoping that in 10 years' time, I'm saying the same thing. Maybe not playing it as much as I am now because I'll be pushing 60 then, but maybe still just dabbling around in it and just having a bit of a passive here and there or whatever. But who knows where Upland goes in a decade's time? I mean, Upland, that's the good thing that they are talking about. Having that 10, 20-year plan, like with the talk about roadblocks and all that sort of stuff. So.
I'm all for supporting a game that I believe is about, like, I'm not going to support them in their greediness, though. I do think, like, if you're a game like where you want people, like your community, to be able to grow and earn, then selling them things where they can flip it makes sense. Selling them things that are just you taking their money and it being aesthetics goes to me against the whole premise of what Upland was supposed to be.
And that's my biggest gripe with what just happened in the last week. I just hate to rehash it, but I'll very quickly just say it. Is okay, so you get these season passes. You can buy them for obviously burning and getting the cosmetics, which you can't sell, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, happy days. We got told that quite clearly from the get-go. And if you want to have a second one for nostalgic purposes, great. Do that because you can swap and trade them with each other, no dramas. But they're going to have no other use than being nostalgic memorabilia.
You give them a use. That's not.
And now they've given them a use that's got a minimum value of $21. Minimum value.
The hard pivot.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? So we're going to change the rules on that again? And I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. Like, fine, you're going to change the rules. But what really upsets me is those that have bought and burnt all these passes to support Upland have been screwed by this because what have we got? Oh, we got a few background pictures that we don't give a fuck about.
More than a few. We got like fucking 50 of them. And they keep going to the same 3 stupid things. I don't need 16 property backgrounds. I can only use one at a time. Don't get me started, man. Don't
daily log on. Instead of the daily log on, there should be like a daily fucking spin the wheel, like when you go into your I don't know what it's like over there, but you go to a club or something, you spin the wheel, 99 times out of 100, you're going to get nothing or nothing worth of any value. But that one time, you might get 0.1 1.0 or say 20 sparklet now.
Oh, here we
Yeah, I'm not going to go on about it, Jim. You don't worry.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna restrain myself. Just know, tomorrow I'm gonna be pissed off when I come out of work and I see this stupid release and it's another fucking background, some bullshit I don't want.
like the American flag for you guys must have been awesome. Like, I would have looked at that if there was an Australian version of that. I would have been going, bang, it's going straight up without a shadow of a
Look, I
doubt.
was happy about it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, give me some flag shit. I'm all about that.
It should have been. They should have just released one from whatever the country that the player's from. They should have released one for each person
Wouldn't that be
from that
cool?
country.
Aw,
So
work.
A lot of work.
a bit of coding, you know, player asset equals fucking, you know, KYC location. Like it's.
They have their AI generating your little past stuff.
But anyway, that's another. Like they're not going to bring in an Australian one because there's like what, you know, how many?
Well, you're the
dozens
only
of them?
Australian playing, I hear.
Actually, I keep coming across a few because just over time, so people reach out, you know, this and that. So there's more than I realised, but it's just hard to know where people are from because obviously there's a crap load of Americans playing the game. But it'd be good to see a little flag, like even next to your Block Explorer, the flag of the country you're from.
Yeah.
Just
Put that in your comments for
Well,
the games. Like,
well, that's not for a
Mm.
release, but
They can
yeah,
have a
I think that
fake
just be in
flag.
general. Like, get rid of all these stupid badges around your Block Explorer, which are just a joke. And because they said you are going to be able to customize it.
It's wherever that city is in whatever country is, you get a flag. So, like, if you mint in Paris, you get your Parisian flag, just for minting in Paris. Get it?
Mm.
No, you don't have to be from Paris to appreciate it. Like, I have the French flag next to my
And what
name.
you're saying is I'm never getting an Australian one. That's what I'm hearing there.
Oh yeah, they're never
Maybe
gonna
Australia will open
release
up
Australia.
deep down under.
Or
What if
Canada.
they let people pay
That'd
for the?
What comes first, Sydney or a Canadian city?
Would you pay for it to be your city if they're like, hey, we're thinking about Sydney or this place, but if you pay for a vote, you can buy this Block Explorer. You can pick the next city.
I don't care enough.
Yeah, man.
I don't care enough.
This is how you get your city there. Pay for it.
But Sydney scares me anyway because I feel like it's going to be overpriced like every other.
Oh, they're gonna
one of the most
release-
expensive cities in the world.
Australia as the a continent node, and that you have to buy it with Ethereum. No more cities. No more. What is it? Full neighborhoods. It's gonna be the whole damn continent.
You were saying before, Lorraine, about there like being no more properties to mint or something in the city, and that was true about San Francisco, wasn't it? Up until a whole new suburb was released.
Oh, you're right. But they
And-
that
and
was
how do you
there,
think
though.
treasure hunters? Let's just say, all right, let's just say Abdullah buys it for argument's sake. Let's just say he buys that island and owns the whole island to himself, and he doesn't put anything up for sale, so he's going to own it, and that's all there is to it. That's going to burn your sense treasure hunting.
But are they going to open it up for treasure hunting? I wonder.
Why not? It's just another
right?
suburb of that city. I mean,
Hmm.
you can land on a railway station or a
You're right.
train
That's
station
true.
and stuff like that. So why would
But that's what Bermuda. There is nothing to add to it. That's what I'm saying, though. There is no other little island that you can attach to it. But that island really exists, right? Treasure Island or whatever it really is over there.
Yeah. It's same as Alcatraz and all that sort of stuff.
So it's
100% it exists.
That's why I feel like getting
But
any place that doesn't have
San
land-
Francisco was minted out, and now all of a sudden release another suburb. So I look at Queens the same way and go, well, Queens is all boarded off. So once Queens is minted out, all the 300,000 properties are sold. That's it for Queens, because I owned a lot of properties in Queens.
No,
But then you look on the other side of the border, there's a crap load more suburbs, and like they could easily just add a few more suburbs to
They could.
Queens, and then you know. And is Queens really such a good? And Washington's the same. They're saying there's only going to be 65,000 properties in Washington, which is going to be awesome for treasure hunting when it's fully released.
but you can't believe them,
But what's to say they don't later down the track go, oh, we'll just add another 35,000 to that.
right? Yeah, that might
Um,
happen. I don't take them at their word anymore. But I
No,
do think Bermuda doesn't have anything nearby that they can associate with Bermuda. That's the only reason. Like you look at it, there's nothing that you can fake it with. Like they have to build a little island themselves. Like we just found this mysterious island. It's now going to be a part of Bermuda. The triangle has risen. We found it. I don't know, but I'm just hoping that not. But then Rutherford is the other place I think like that's like. Hopefully they'll never like touch it because it's so nice and small for treasure hunters who are just starting. So I keep buying things when I see things nicely priced in Rutherford. I still will buy there because I'm just like, never know when this game blows up. People might be like really going after Rutherford to learn how to treasure hunt. I don't know.
I think as a new player, and I said this to Elsac recently, it's a city, and I'm not saying only say South Lake Tahoe, but city like South Lake Tahoe. I know you got the problem with transport there because it's car only. But that's almost a perfect city for treasure hunting. It's only a tier 3, so you're only getting the 10 sparklet. But the UpX return is pretty good. And I think they're actually better as you go down. Because the cost of sends are a lot less. So I think your returns per hunting and that works out slightly better. Yeah, you get less spark, but because it's so small, you can do more searches in a quicker time. So someone that wants to do 20 or 30 a day could probably knock that out in an hour or so, as opposed to going to Queens where it might take you 2 or 3 hours because it's so much bigger.
I don't know. I think Rutherford's better than South Lake Tahoe because I think it is a lot smaller than Tahoe.
Yeah. But you can't buy there now cheaply, can you?
Oh, but can you buy in Tahoe cheaply? I don't think
not as cheap as not as cheap as some cities, but you can buy in Queens a whole lot cheaper, but it's so much bigger. So if you,
no, I wouldn't buy there. I'd buy Santa Clara or Rutherford, maybe Tahoe.
So
Tahoe's big to me. I don't like hunting in Tahoe. Like I feel like even I'm experienced hunting now, and I feel like
Yeah, I want the double sparkler. I don't want to go where it's only half as much.
Right? Yeah.
But that's
you have spark. You don't need any. Stop being so greedy.
But speaking about all different cities around the world, what do we think about these new collections?
I love it.
Are they? I was looking at
that.
They pop up
love
in the
it.
game yet?
More
This is where I'm
collections
gonna
better. Give us all the collections you could possibly give us. That only adds value to everybody's properties. That's what the game needs.
All right, you love it, Jay Sawyer. What do you think about it?
I only get into collections, my collections every now and then, and I'm always surprised about what collections that I have that I haven't activated yet.
And
so I only log in and go through my collections maybe twice a year, and just make sure I fill them up. So I don't pay too much attention to collections.
And sadly, I'm reaching that level now where I couldn't give a shit about blue collections personally. I know I'm sounding out of touch with the world or out of touch with the common man now, but I look at that and go, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, and it's great for new players, especially to try and spread out buying across the globe now. So when you're starting out, obviously you want to try and get as many blue collections as you can. You try and work your way up through those collections. So personally, I said last week, I feel like myself is at the limited level. The exclusive level, and trying to build the exclusive collections I have up. So I look at blue and go 0.3 profit bonus isn't really worth it. But the main reason why I really don't like it is because try and manage 2,000 properties and fill those collections and trying to find the property that you want it is, and I just look at it, and to me that's a headache that I just do not want. And if it was orange or better, I'd be like, yeah, I'm all over this. I'll find them and I'll work it out and do it. When you're looking at it almost 2x or better. But a blue, I'm like, I might just find ones and just fill them anywhere. But I'm not going to fill them until next season. Just in case there's
that's a good
challenge.
Reminder.
Just in case there's a challenge to fill collections.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. You can't.
This season there wasn't, because it was exclusive collections or something above anyway, so it wouldn't have helped this season. But I don't care enough. It's only 3 weeks away for the next season, so I'm like, I can wait 3 weeks, and then I'll look at it, and I probably won't even try and pick the best 3 properties for those collections. I'll probably just throw anything in there, and I don't give a shit about. But on the flip side, where it is really good, and I can tell you someone that will absolutely love this, will be Jacqueline. So she can add to a 400 million structural ornament collection properties. So she's now got another. How many was it all up? There was quite a few, wasn't there? I did have the release here.
How many new collections are going to do?
Yeah, so I did
Is it
bring it up.
6?
So there's 5. So the global one, or the World Traveller, 5 different properties from different cities around the world. So, and then you've got 3 East, Central, because you had those collections before, didn't you, in the game? East, West, and Central. I think I remember seeing them when I first started. That from the
Maybe
East Coast.
I don't remember seeing them, but I barely knew what the hell I was doing when I first started. Because we started near the same time, but I didn't know
Yeah.
my ass from a hole in the ground.
What about you, Blue Rain? You remember them, don't you? The East, Central,
So,
and
I
West?
feel like maybe that's I'm like maybe you're actually naming a collection that already exists someplace else. There's a central collection for some other city, right? I feel like that sounds familiar, but not from around
No,
the world.
I had like a limited collection that was for those 3, like the nodes. So any of the 3 eastern cities, any of the 3 middle cities, and 3 western cities. They had that a couple of years ago. It was only a temporary collection, and then when they brought in the world ones where you had the 3 different zones in the world or something. I can't remember what that was called. The
It's
European one,
West I was thinking of. You were just talking about.
European nodes and stuff like that. I thought that as a result they're only going to be temporary as well, but they turned out to be permanent. But so there's 9, so there's 14 different collection properties added to that. So there's another 14 properties that Jacqueline can add to her. So that's where it will come in handy. I mean, I still think that
still have the international one. So what's the difference between this new one that they're doing?
World Traveller. So I own 5 properties in different cities. So I don't even know if that means
Is different cities like in the same place or different
doesn't say.
countries, right? Like
Just a different cities. So I wonder if that can be American. Actually, I can look
you
at
mentioned,
that.
like that's licensed in 5 cities. You have that already. Really, it's really
I'll
easy.
present that. I'm not going to feel it, but I'll present it and have a look and see if that is exactly what it is. All right, so we go to collections.
International Nomad Collection. That's just 3 different countries.
Yeah, I got that one, and then the European Nomad, and then there's that South American Nomad they have.
Oh, it
Yeah.
Doesn't even come up for me. Oh,
I think those are just more region based, and this World Traveler one will just, I think, different.
you'd have to think different continent or different
You would
countries.
think,
Yeah.
it
have
doesn't say it. It just 5 different cities. Or whatever.
Never given
San
up.
Francisco. Or you just go to 5 boroughs, could you, of New York, and just have one from each of those 5. Yep, I've got my World Traveller done, all in the one city. Maybe I need to.
I thought it
refresh
said in there in the details.
what I was just reading did, and it just. It's not let me to it. No, well, what I was just reading just. We're thrilled to announce the collection, blah, blah, blah. They'll all have the 1.3 yield. Oh, they'll be launched over the next few days, so that's not in there. Not in there yet.
Are you looking
No,
at
it just
the-
says World Traveller 5 properties. But they always do this with releases. They're so vague with the information in their releases that different people can interpret them different ways. And you wonder why the average person struggles to know what's going on.
happening. Yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room between like what that means in there. So
5 different cities. So effectively, yeah, go to New York and have 5,
Yeah.
one in each
they have
borough, and you're done.
yeah.
Like, was that a world traveler?
No.
To me, yeah, it would be because on the other side of the
You're
world.
just like- you're not traveling the world if you have all 5 cities in the U.S. That's just the U.S. That's not
No,
the
it's
world.
got to be different. countries.
Like, I don't know. So Eastern Nomad is the new, like, what is that? Cities of the East Coast, and then we have the
Yeah.
West Coast. That's easy. And the East
Yeah.
Coast is New York, and then 5 different cities. It doesn't say across. They don't always word things the way they want to. So maybe they'll put a correction in there and be like, these have to be in 5 different countries. But we have Rio, we have Buenos Aires, we have Tokyo, we have America. What's the Porto? Yeah, we got 5 at least. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have all of those.
As
Yeah,
do I.
most people would, but it wouldn't be hard to get it.
No.
I think the starter
Okay.
bundles seem weird, like 7.5% chance. Like, what? Who came up with that kind of percentage? Like, let's give them a 7.5%.
Yeah.
It's like not 8.
$23. You
So,
could have a 7.5%.
But they don't tell you what. They don't
It's
tell you what you're
premium, high
getting.
value property.
And again, they're not telling you what you're getting. Are you buying it at 50% market price or the mint price, or are you buying 40% or 100%?
I thought it
what's
maybe.
high value to them?
I'm guessing that's like a red collection, maybe. That's what I would say. A red collection or better.
Some
They're
of the people that I
$4.
onboarded bought these starter bundles and premier bundles, and they were really, really happy with them.
A lot of people have said that, but some people have to be unhappy.
100%. Some people have to be unhappy.
Yeah, I haven't run into any unhappy customers yet.
I bought the Ethereum ones when they first came out. I bought one of the bottom one and the middle one. I didn't buy the full Ethereum one. I didn't get anything worth noting about, but I wasn't complaining. I knew I
Well,
was
you
getting
didn't get
into.
the J Sawyer blessing on it. So before I buy this, can you give me like a little blessing on my $23?
Oh, because you got money to burn, haven't you?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I was happy that I missed out on the Ethereum. I was all ready to buy an Ethereum bundle, but when I clicked purchase, the gas fees all day long for me were equivalent to $1,500 just for the gas fee. So
That
I
gas
was
is out of control.
I didn't have that much Ethereum in my wallet, so they tried to charge me that. It wouldn't, but I did it like when it was first at the time it was released, and I didn't have any dramas. So it was only $1 or $2. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
I took it really personal that I was getting charged the 15. I thought it was a personal attack on me.
sounds like it was.
You should have just dropped your fees to set up a custom fee and just see if it goes through. If it does, it does. It doesn't.
No,
it
because then you get charged the fee, and if it doesn't go through, you still don't get the
doesn't. No, but if you
transaction.
change it to like this, like a really low gas
No,
fee.
it just won't go through.
Oh
And then
yeah,
you charge
that was the first thing I tried. Slack was the custom fee, and
Yeah.
I would just get it. It was just it didn't charge me, but it wouldn't even initialize it. Just gave me an error.
Oh.
So that's I'm always butthurt when a Web3 game or project comes out on Ethereum.
Mhm.
I just go,
Like
why?
Upland.
Yeah,
Like-
why?
Like Upland.
You have Solana. Why would you come out on Ethereum?
Exactly.
Solana exists.
I just really hope that they go on a centralized platform just to reduce those fee concerns that people have.
Mhm.
Because if there is ever a rush on trying to buy Sparklet at some point, to not have to go to a centralized and pay gas fees to do a transaction, especially if you only want to buy a little bit of it, would just be ridiculous. Where if you can just go to Coinbase and just pick up a little bit, yeah, you're paying slightly more fees there, but it's only a little bit compared to what Ethereum fees can be, as you just saw.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe one day soon, eventually, hopefully.
I can't wait till Sparklet comes out in the exchange and I can just buy it whenever I want it.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I've got money set aside that, yeah, if it does what I think it will do, and just at the start, I'll be picking up. I've got a price in my head that I'll be diving in and just trying to clean up. Now,
Oh, what's
not
that price?
All the money, but
Carly? What's that price?
I know, right? That's what I want to know.
well, we're not allowed to discuss it apparently. So I've heard other
Can't
people
speculate.
say.
You're not speculating, are you?
You're
You got a
just
price in
saying.
your head. That's your price. That's not
Yeah.
speculation. That's your own limit. Tell us.
I will-
I've just said to Ben a couple of times, I just don't see how the price can go up from release, because for 5 years or 4 years, however long Spark's been around, we've been buying it at $460. If you're buying it, you've been buying it at $460. We're all conditioned to think that one Spark's worth $460, or the equivalent one Sparklet worth 46 cents. So how, even if it launches at that price, how is it going up? Because you're not going to buy it, because you can already buy it for cheaper than that in the game.
Because hunters. So hunters
Yeah,
who hunt every day for free, like they might be
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna sell it for really cheap because
Yeah.
I didn't spend.
Which means it's going to go down, not up.
Yeah.
Or
So-
people who don't give a
Yeah, you're
shit
right,
about
that's
the
what I
game,
think.
they're
It's
just buying the
down.
token to buy the token.
So that's Ben's argument, is that people outside the game that don't know anything about Upland will go, oh, there's a new game, I'm going to invest in the game and buy the token. Yeah, there's going to be that. And hopefully there's going to be a lot of that. And then we will, us OGs, not that I'm an OG, but we can really benefit from that. But that might be down the track. I just don't think that'll be at launch. I think I honestly believe there'll be some fantastic opportunities to pick up some Spark at a lot less, Sparklet at a lot less than 46 cents a Sparklet.
Swirly, I actually 100% concur with your analysis, and I am planning on getting some at a discount as well. I will say this though, for buying an Upland, Upland may stop selling Sparklet once it's released.
You think?
Well, they said that they reserve the right to sell it in-game for a slightly cheaper price than what it's going on the open market. So let's say it's hovering around 40 cents this weekend, and Upland do their Spark sale the weekend, they're probably going to sell it at 38 or 39 cents or something like that. That's the way I see it. But if you buy it in-game, it's locked there for the X amount of time that you can't just take it out and sell it on the market, which may go up or down. You've got that 30 days or whatever the time frame is that you've got to use it for before you can take it out. Which is probably, if it is 30 days, which I think it is, I don't think that's long enough. I think it should be longer, but that's
and I will also say that once we have businesses coming into Upland, businesses don't care about a deal. They just need what they need for operations right then.
And that's the other people coming in and buying the Spark from the exchange, and that's what we're hoping happens down the track. So, and if that does happen, especially in the bull run of the crypto market, then happy days, and we can probably sell our Spark and make a tidy little profit. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll just keep building.
I'm gonna mute for a minute, guys. I will still be listening, but I'll be rocking a crying baby.
Oh,
No worries.
Been there.
So that's all the news that's sort of happened today. Like I said, if you want to know the details of it, obviously go check out Ben on Thursday night. What's that for you? Friday? No.
It's ahead of time.
It's Wednesday night.
I'm in the past.
Well,
Wednesday early morning for you Americans.
Early morning.
Ben will go over it, no doubt, as well as I think Goldie does his show every day, which he goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need people like that.
Yeah, so that's why I don't want to just re-go. Even Cheese on Saturday, she goes through it all with her opinion, and that's a good take on it. I like getting people's different opinions on things. Makes me think about things a different way. Sorry?
I said Upland X1 will do his bit.
Yep.
Yeah. But I like
It's
hearing
very
different
high
people's opinions on stuff to maybe change my opinion about certain things. Does happen. Really.
You buy your Spark?
I bought my first 0.1 when I first started. All the rest since have been through different competitions, mostly treasure hunting, but did win a couple of, or not win, but did all right in a couple of the trading competitions, so got a little bit of Spark there. I think the ETH bundles you got a little bit of Spark too, like 0.05 or something. But so I guess I kind of bought some there, I suppose.
Do you have a lot of ETH?
No, I just had a little bit.
That's right. You just said you didn't have enough to buy before.
No, I just had a tiny bit, so I was like, just sitting there. It was only a couple $100 worth at the most, Australian dollars worth. So I was like, fuck it, might as well just do it.
You probably more than doubled that now with all your poker winnings.
I haven't won. I came third one. You came second.
I thought you said you got
I came third. The week before you came second, I came third.
No, I know that, but I thought you played more than that and you won.
Oh yeah.
More than that time.
That NFT cost me 0.1 Spark to buy the one I've got. So you got the same thing basically.
Yeah.
That one I won playing, but it cost me 0.1 Spark. And back in the early days, you get 0.1 Spark for winning and 0.05 for coming second and third. So I probably did that maybe 8 or 9 times, coming in the top 3. So I well and truly got my money back. So that's why I was happy to.
You haven't won in that poker tournament yet?
Yeah, I've won a couple of times, but
okay.
I usually got to second or third because once you got there, you got the 0.05 guaranteed, and because it's always stupid out of the morning, I'm like, all in, And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. I didn't really care.
That's kind of how I was that when I got second. I was like, I could probably milk this out for the win, but I just was like, nah, I'm gonna just let's see what happens. I need to go do something else.
You guys race? You guys doing the staked racing at the track, whatever, Track Hero?
No, I want to. I just haven't found myself doing it yet. But it's definitely on my list of things to get accustomed to.
We had this question last week or the week before. Can you see Upland nerfing Spark and treasure hunting altogether? Not in the near future, because I think that'd almost kill the game if they did. We saw what happened to London and Tokyo when they nerfed treasure hunting, just those two cities alone. So they nerfed treasure hunting across the board. I think that would be a huge dent in the game. I think they'd have absolutely dropped the floors, I think, of all the cities across whole of Upland. What I've said in the past, and this is just my personal belief, my personal thoughts, is I honestly think that at some point in the future, when STEM's up and running, that a Spark chest will be 50-50 between STEM and Spark. So there'll be less Spark coming out as a result, but if you didn't get Spark, you got STEM instead.
Yeah, that's where I got this opinion from you. I was going to say it if you weren't.
Yeah. But again, we'll have to wait a couple of years, given that we're supposed to have 5 cycles of totems. We've only had one in a year. We might have to wait till 2030 to find out if I'm right or not. But I can't see them ever getting rid of Spark from treasure hunting, because you've got to have a reason. At the moment, it's one of the main reasons to own properties in Upland. Like I said a couple of times, there's only 3 reasons. 1's collection properties, 2's treasure hunting, and 3 is a node. Outside of that, I don't really, unless you're just buying to invest, I don't see the point. Again, my own personal opinion. But like I said, with Tokyo and London, what we saw happen there when they nerfed the treasure hunting, and saw what happened to the city floors there, which you do all the time, Blue Rain, you would have seen massive drops really quick. If they did that across the whole Upland, that would be ugly. And we're already at mid-20s for some cities as it is. Mm-hmm. Imagine if they nerfed treasure hunting altogether. I mean, they've already nerfed it enough. I don't think they can nerf it anymore.
So you guys have been playing a lot longer than me, I think. Especially if you're around to Mint Manhattan and whatnot.
I wasn't. No, my first city release was Vegas. I joined about a week or 2 after Queen's release, and because I missed the collections. I started in Queens when Block Explorer just was there, and that's where I bought my first property.
60 Spark? It's a lot of Spark in a short time.
Almost about 2 years, yeah.
So I've been in here since LA was the first city that that opened, but I started Bakersfield. Yeah,
so again, you've been around longer than me then.
Yeah, which is so I can't imagine getting 60 Spark. That's either a lot of hunting or you really.
I wasn't at the start, but I do 80 searches a day on average. I wasn't doing that at the start, so I use my sends. I try and get my ratio under 1 a send, which I can. So there's a bit of a up and down between speed, like just getting there quickly and grabbing your treasure, or trying to drift to a property and using up more time and increase the ratio. So there's a bit of I can go faster, but then I don't get as many, but it'll take as long, or I can go slower. And during the Upland Genesis Week challenge, I was doing them real slow, so that way I was getting 120, 130 in a day, because you're getting points for each treasure that you're spawning. But it was taking me 6-8 hours to do it, if not longer.
Do you have a job?
I do. I do, but it was only 3 days, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to give this a crack. I'm going to do it for 3 days, see what it was like. And then I got the shit property. Well, not shit. It was a 33,000 UpX property in St. George's, which I gave to OG Killer when we did all the giveaways the other week. But considering that was for the coming top 10 in the Genesis Week challenge, it was a shit prize. Which apparently the year before they got terminal properties worth 1.2 million. And this year we got a St George, not even a collection property for St George's for 33,000. And I'd spent 3 days. I'd literally spent from sunrise to sunset almost for 3 days, like trying to toil away and get as many points as I could, and only just scraped in the top 10 as it was. But the top 10 had pulled a huge gap. 11th spot was a fair way behind the 10th spot. There was a huge gap there, but there was a lot of work to get there, and I thought it'd be worth it, but it still wasn't. I was very disappointed. With the terminal property, which I don't have, that would have been amazing. I would have been going, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do that again every week if that was the case. But
Yeah, I like a terminal.
Can't win them all, Swarley.
I haven't won any.
yeah, you win some. Yeah, well, look, I was just, and I wasn't even aware of that until some of the other players that got the top 10. They tagged me in a post where they're going, last year they got this. I wasn't aware that they got that last year. I wish they hadn't tagged me because then I would count and be like, yeah, they said I get a property, got a property. I guess that's all there is to it. They didn't say it was going to be a good property, did they? So they just said it's going to be a property in the next city release. The next city release was not a release; it was an expansion. But anyway,
Yeah. Well, anyway, what is it? Territory release?
I just noticed your thing, make treasure hunting great again.
that's in relation to PC hunting. I'm a PC player.
It's coming back soon, Swarley. That's what they said.
They said. I did see it.
Yeah, so is the bloody totems apparently.
Hey,
There's a lot. There are people that thought totems would be done in dust before G Week. So they figured 5 cycles, 5 months, we'll get this over and done with.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to bang them out, but they just they're dragging their feet.
They're going to be like, who wants totem clothes? Before we push him out, who wants a totem wearable?
After round 1 of the totems, all right, okay, now I understand how this works. Right, they're all on a time cycle. I'll get rid of all these purple and brown ones I have, get orange and green ones. I've got 8 hours and 24-hour cycles. So we'll do some every 3 hours, 3 times a day, and the other ones the 4 times. So they match up. So the other 4 don't even really matter because they're at the same time as one of the other 3. So I'm like, yeah, I can manage that 3 times a day. So if I do 8 a.m., I can do 4 p.m. and midnight. I can do that.
Midnight is late.
So I went and did all this trading, and they go out and bring in these potions and go, oh, you can change it now. I'm like, but I don't want to change it. I just traded all these and bought all these and swapped them all around so I could have all the same colors. Now you're telling me I can get a different color? Why do I want a different color? Like, if I want a different color, I'll go buy a different color.
Yeah, but potions are selling. They're down to 40.
I don't even think I would accept a trade to offer a gold one for a green one. I don't think I would do it.
I don't think I would either. I hate to look at those damn potions. Like I said before, they look like scrotums. And they do.
You would know.
You know.
Well, I don't see mine very often, but yeah.
There's that. But you can imagine, Yeah, anyway.
Take a look at these potions.
Yeah, why don't you go take a look? Should we just put one on here real quick? Well, I'll put the potions up. We'll put a scrotum up next to it. And then...
I got an organ one for cheap. An organ? What does that mean, an organ one? Orange. I think he meant orange.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, an organ. Selling totem organs now? That's totem heart.
I think he's trying to sell me a totem, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to buy it. I haven't watched the totem market for so long. I got 11. And I'm like,
look at these stupid things.
I just don't know.
7.
Hold on.
I mean, I haven't done a James UK or an LSAC where I've gone, fuck it, get rid of them. They're stupid. Which, fair enough. It's not for everyone.
But now I want back in because I'm an idiot. Look at these scrotum potion bundles.
If they're angled the other way, I'll give it to you. If they're angled in towards each other.
Yeah. Well, that one thing's a little bit lower than the other one. Just saying.
They're hanging little to the left.
Oh, goodness. Well, I think we're officially off the rails.
Yeah, I think you better give this stuff away so that we can...
How do we want to do this? How do we want to give this shit away? Not shit. I don't mean shit.
I think you should do it because I think most of your people that tune in do it during the week, don't they? So, because you said you got 3 to give away, yeah? I mean, you can give away 1 maybe live.
Yes.
And then...
Well, I got 3 to give away. How about?
I was thinking maybe do some sort of challenge or comment or something for the video during the week if you listen this far through, because not everyone's going to do that.
That's true.
Okay. And maybe give 1 away live. Do you have that hashtag thing set up?
No, I was looking at it, but then I got sidetracked. So, what we can do is let's just leave a comment.
Or just give it to Jimmy, who's done like 4,000 comments.
I was gonna say Jimmy Jester is really commenting.
Jimmy has been on it.
I mean, is James and Vape still here?
There's show me.
There's a few people watching, so I just don't know if they're still here or not.
I want to do it live. How about this?
The Vulgar Uplander. Oh, that's you.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just gonna do it live.
Obviously you've obviously got Blue Rain here, so and Jay Sawyer.
So just type in there. It doesn't have to be fuck it. Just put hashtag next world, and then I'm just gonna look at them in the chat here, and then I'll put them on a wheel and we'll spin it 3 times. And there's at least 5 people watching, and Blue Rain. So.
Okay.
You're gonna buy Jimmy's totem, are you?
I don't know. Maybe. Tell me how much it is, and then we'll talk about it.
He's probably got it in the shop.
I just put next world. I'm like, who's it? I don't even think you said that, but I'm just trying to copy. Like, I saw someone put next world, so now I'm gonna put next world. Did you say next world? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, next world.
Okay. $20 for your totem. I'll buy it.
$20. Yeah, that is cheaper than I've seen anything. I think you just got sniped there.
Don't be poaching out. Yeah, no deal, Jimmy. Hit me up. DM me. Come on now. Blue Rain
Jimmy heard
coming
you
on
got money
here.
burning a hole in your pocket.
Snipe me out.
He said you got money in your pocket burning a hole. You want some of it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I have not seen any go for it. I think the cheapest I saw online is $26.
That's a decent deal.
Yeah, it is.
Deal.
No matter what it is, yeah.
Do I hear
No, you don't hear 21.
I'll play that.
Dang it. Now I need to be more selective with how I send out these invites. This is outrageous. $20.50.
The floor at the
Jimmy,
moment.
did you put in hashtag next world? Because I'm not seeing anything from Jimmy Jester. All of a sudden, it just disappeared.
No entries.
Weird.
No, not
All right, we got JP. We got
Just chuck him in anyway.
yeah. Vape, is that your in-game name? What's your in-game name? Just out of curiosity.
There you go. He's into the comp.
I don't see it still for some reason. It's weird.
The totem I want to get is the gorilla, but I'm not willing to pay a stupid amount for it, so that's why I don't have it.
That's me too. I don't want a gorilla just to have more than that. Makes a lot of proto.
At the end of all this STEM stuff, it's only going to be a map asset, and I reckon I can pick it up cheaper then anyway, so we'll see what happens. And there'll probably be some burn event where you can burn them for something in the game. That seems to be the way Upland are going with everything.
All right, I'm back, everyone. Baby is asleep.
Oh
Nice
man, worked your magic.
We're just trying to give away your stuff.
I've been listening this whole time. Let's give it away.
All right, so I got Jimmy, JP, Blue Rain, Vape. Did I miss anybody else?
So you got 3 of them, have you, Elsa?
I got 4.
4. Maybe 2
5
now and 2.
walkers.
2 now and 2
Somebody-
during the week, then on the video for the non-live listeners.
All right. Oh, yeah, I give two away right now and then one. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you've got 4 to give away, did you say?
No, I got 3.
Oh, 3, yeah. So 2 now and 1 on the.
Yeah, 2 now and then 1 for everybody else that puts in hashtag next world. And then next week we'll give it away on the show right off the top. Okay, I'll give like another minute or so in case anybody pops on and then puts it in there. Then we'll spin this wheel for a 50% chance at getting this map asset.
Those are great
That will
odds.
be you. Great odds.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Okay. Man, it's getting late. I'm gonna have a hell of a time driving to work tomorrow. I'm
I
gonna have to
always,
top that.
I always save the Down Under podcast for my long drives.
Yeah.
Ben and Swarley keep me awake and alive.
I do that on my drive home at the end of my week. It's like their episodes are almost exactly the length I need to get from Tillamook to Salem. It's fantastic.
Not when Ben did all the quips in one show, though. That was a long show.
That was a little bit long, yeah. Luckily there was traffic that day, so it worked out. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me share this screen here. Stop doing that. We got four names on there. It's midnight here. It's like, I don't know.
It's 5 p.m. here. Woo.
Oh, good for you. J-Star, you're in the same time zone, right? Because you guys don't have daylight savings.
Correct. Yeah, same as you.
Yeah. Until, what is it, September? Then we change and you stay the same.
I love not changing times.
Oh, I wish this thing would go away. I fucking hate daylight savings time.
Well, thank Ben Franklin because he's the one that came up with it.
Nope, I hate Ben Franklin. That's not true. Anyway, okay, let's spin this wheel for the first one. Let's see who we're gonna get.
That's weird.
Bye, guy.
Game
Hey,
Dave.
hi, guy. Let me write this down somewhere. Now, remember.
Just watch it back.
Yeah.
Give
All
yourself a view.
Dave, hi, guy. You'll see a message from my map asset showroom that will say, "Hey, you have something reserved for you." Remove. All right, last one.
Ooh, I got better odds now that that guy won.
You have. Oh, and you might have got it.
over.
Oh, I
You
feel
aim for the
dirty,
win.
Jimmy.
Woohoo! Like the odds looked good. They were in my favor. Thank you. Woohoo!
All right, Jimmy and JP, you still got a shot. All you got to do, well, you already did it, so just make sure it stays in the comments.
Oh,
And
and
then,
then winners shoot me a DM, Jay Sawyer, on manually tracking the statue owners as well, just in case we have a hard time running a query on who owns them.
Like,
Okay.
do I have to? Am I a person who's getting a statue? I don't even know what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just won.
Let's see. I don't think I have friends with you on here, Jay Sawyer. Are you Jay Sawyer in Upland too?
Yes.
Let me find you.
I'm gonna go, since I'm in here real quick, I'll just add these real fast. Otherwise, I may forget, or I might not do it for a day or two. And I'd rather just do it right now.
I just message you. Hi, I'm a winner.
I see it just
You
popped
are
up.
a winner. You're a winner in my book.
Oh, winner. Here we go.
Geez, Babylon, why don't you, Blue Rain?
Wait.
Okay.
Good night, y'all. Good night. I guess it is midnight. Good morning and good afternoon.
Yeah. Shit. Hey, thanks for
Good
hanging
night,
out,
everyone.
man. You should have jumped on. You said last week you were going to jump on with us, and you let me down. I'm very disappointed in you.
Oh, I'll have to say goodnight, guys. Baby woke up. Congratulations to the winners. We'll
Thank
see you in
you.
the game.
Thank you guys
Thanks
for
a lot, Jason. Thanks for popping on.
Thanks
and
for being
giving-
on. Yep.
Bye, guys.
Feel free to join anytime you want.
This
You
is
guys
fun.
can talk soon.
Every
All right,
whatever
see ya.
this day is Mondays. This Mondays.
Yeah.
Days.
It had to be
Alright.
this late because we don't want to clash with Goldie or anyone else. So,
Yeah.
To know. So
and he takes up that time slot every single day. So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna be either earlier or later. And earlier is obviously no good because it's right in dinner time and kids and stuff like that. Doesn't make a lot of difference to me because it's the afternoon. So
okay.
I always say to Rob, like, you tell me when we're getting off because I don't care. Like, it's I've got no plans. I'm already not working, so I'm like, yeah, I'll talk all day if you want.
Okay. Blue Rain, this one's coming to you first. You'll get a message here in a second. And then Vape
Oh.
High Guy.
My daily check-in.
Yeah, I just got mine too.
It's a new day.
Is Vape High Guy.
That's a funny name.
It's not showing up. Why can't I find it?
Come on, let me. You probably put in too many letters.
Maybe.
Because when I put in J Sawyer all the way, it didn't find him, but I backed up to just W after
Are you googling? Are you putting in Blue Rain? Are you?
popped up.
Yeah, well, I already sent that one in. And then I found it. It just was one word instead of two.
Yeah.
So those should be coming through. You have to travel to Kansas City, but I'm sure it's a small price to pay.
Oh, he's only a director? I'm so shocked. What are you? What are you? Oh, Slack.
I'm just a baby director.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you'd be all up there. Barley, I feel like you have to be exec already with all the money you've been spending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went through that last week. I have put in about 11,000.
Oh, you're like whispering.
Like,
Yeah.
just making sure the missus isn't here.
Oh, no. Don't tell
That
her.
was a little bit here, a little bit there. I
Oh,
didn't
no.
realize that it added up so much, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm about 35 with the net worth, but that doesn't include obviously all your assets, does it? So I wish they did add all that in there.
Yeah.
I try to keep this game as free to play as I can. So I use a lot of like money back apps, and I transfer that money into my account, and then I spend that money on Upland. So I'm like $1,000 in USD, but most of that is through like, because I drive an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes to work every day, 80 miles. So I get a lot of gas, and so I use Upside. I get money back on that all the time. I'm pumping that into Upland all the time. And then when I buy groceries, I just use all the free apps. And
Yeah,
then that money funds my Upland, and so I'm trying to keep it as free to play as possible, so my wife doesn't chop my
yeah.
posts off.
I'm trying to I put in a lot of money too, but more like just like such stupid times. Like when my first property, I spent like hundreds of dollars on. It's not even like a collection property. It's just like a property in LA that I just loved. Like it's such a beautiful. And I just thought, I don't know. When I first started playing, I thought like the way things look street view wise would be a big deal, and then I found out later like, oh, not so much.
No, yeah.
So,
I wish it mattered. I wish street views mattered.
yeah, but they can change too. So I don't even know.
They
Like,
could. Maybe
yeah.
they'll do a competition where you got to submit badass street views and you'll win something. I don't know.
KCL. I don't know. There's a lot of people. Actually, Lake Comus community is doing really well in Kansas City, but I just There's some places in Upland that I'm like, I cannot believe that people are buying so much of this place. Kansas City in Cleveland. Cleveland is like a better floor than Chicago. And I don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand why people like Cleveland more than Chicago. Like, or just I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna log off and try to get some sleep before the morning time comes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna wake up nice and early to drive my ass to work.
And to work. Have a good work tomorrow, and thank you for hanging out. It's been so fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. And anytime, I'll post it. I'll
Let me know
wherever.
When it's not work time for me, I'll be able to do this. But come August, I won't be staying up till midnight on a Monday, so I have to work.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
That's fair
All
enough.
right. See you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Good night. All right. Good night, Mr. Rob. I'm going to go and chat to the missus.
Fair enough.
I'll,
Alrighty. Well,
see you.
everybody, thank you for hanging out with us and listening to our longest episode yet. Check out Next World and all the fun stuff that's gonna be coming from that. Swarley, I'll check you next week.
Yep.
Alrighty, sir. All right.
Adios. See ya.
Later. Peace.